Hello, happy Sunday. Hi. Hello, Panis. Congrats on first. Hello, Nue. Hello, Fita. Hello, Derek. Thank you for the 45 stream streak, Fita. Thank you for the 22 months, Austin. Hello, Austin. Hello, Rising. Hello, Taylor. Oh, thank you for the 15 stream streak. Nue. Hello, Flufo. Thank you for the 4 months. Okay, I think... Okay, the only thing I have left to do is give Rising another extra point for the daily redeemed thing, because I forgot to last time. I already did it for Nue and Panis. Okay, there we go. I adjusted everything. Everything is fine now. Hello! Hello, Lark Luna. Hi. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm super late. I was like 15 minutes late to starting the stream. I'm so sorry. I got kind of lost in the sauce because I charged my 3DS and I was playing with my 3DS. I looked at all the stuff that I did in my Animal Crossing town and whatnot. Did I say hello to you, Trace? Hello, Trace. I don't know. But yeah, I got kind of lost in the sauce, and then I was like, oh my god, I have to start the stream. And yeah, everything was a little bit crazy. But I'm here now. I'm late, but I'm here. Umineko Sunday. Exactly. We're no longer being scammed. I made sure of it. Everything is okay now. Yes, I'm late. But what? But you. It was fun checking the 3DS. It was very fun, but I got lost in the sauce still. I kind of got lost track of time. But it's okay. I went to the beach yesterday and it was so freaking hot. It was like 27 degrees and I died a little bit. I did not get sunburned, thankfully. I was also wearing sunscreen. You should be proud of me. And then it started raining and I thought it was going to be super cold today. But then today it was insanely hot too, especially in the morning. But now it's kind of mellowed out a bit. It's getting way too hot for my liking. But I think it's gonna cool down a little bit next week. It gets really hot next week, but then it starts cooling down again, but it'll probably just stay in the range of 20 degrees Celsius from now on, which is unfortunate. The beach that we went to also wasn't very fun. I was there with a couple of people, but the beach itself was kind of not so good. It was kind of bad. It was very full and it was kind of dirty. Dare I say dirty? Yeah, kind of dirty. It was very close to the city, so maybe that explains why it was so incredibly dirty and also why it was so incredibly full. But it was still fun, and it's good to cool down a little bit to be at the beach. It was very cold in the water, which was nice. Also, hello Irom and hello Amadis. Hi. Last stream was so fun. I was eagerly waiting for this one. Yeah, I'm sorry for being late, but I'm here. Also have fun at Dokumi Spooky. Thank you. I'll be there next weekend. So next week will be a little interesting in terms of streams. I'll probably stream on Monday. I'll try to stream a little bit on Tuesday. It's gonna be a little bit crazy, but that's gonna be the only 2 streams maximum for next week. And then the following week after Dokumi will also be a little bit crazy. I'll probably stream on that Monday and then only on the weekend, but we'll see. So there likely won't be Umineko streams next week because, well, I don't want to ruin it for people who only have time on weekends to watch Umineko and then stream on weekdays all of a sudden when they can't show up, you know? So I most likely won't get to play Umineko next week. But we'll see. I haven't decided what I will stream. Probably something lightweight that I can turn off at any time without ruining the moment. Hello, Blood. Hi, hi. Accidentally slept through last stream. Solved that by watching last stream instead of sleeping. Is that so wise? Is that so smart? That's scary. You need your beauty sleep. Have fun for me at Dokumi too. Thank you. I will do my best to have fun, extra fun for you as well. I'm kind of bummed out that I won't get to meet you, but that's okay. There's always another Dokumi where we can meet up and say hi. There will be more Dokumis to come. That's okay. Yeah, I think that's it for like important stuff that I wanted to talk about. You'll see on schedules probably, but it'll all be very messy until after next weekend or the weekend after. You know, that it's kind of hard to say. Hold on, I can give you the exact date. Everything will return to normal on the 8th of June. We'll return to the regular schedule starting June 8th. I will save up for next time, I promise. Yippee! One day I'd love to go too. The artist alley looks so huge. I'd love to cosplay. I know nothing about Dokumi. I don't know how big the venue is. I don't know where the artists that I want to visit are gonna be stationed at. I'll just kind of wing it. I don't know. I haven't even downloaded the app, even though I was planning to and like jot down the artists that I want to go see, but I forgot. So thumbs up for that. Dokumi Artist Alley goes crazy. I've left so much money there. Thankfully, I saved up a little bit of money, so I'll get to hopefully buy some stuff. And also go eat something nice there, because I don't want to spend too much time cooking and stuff, so I want to eat some stuff in Düsseldorf. It's gonna be good, I hope. It gets bigger every year. Yeah, I saw that there's gonna be like 230,000 visitors this year. I don't know if that's like more or less compared to other years, but I'm guessing it's gonna be full as hell, and there's gonna be an incredible selection of artists there. I've been studying my Programmheft. Yeah, I have not. I will just, you know, let it happen. I'm not good at planning ahead or anything, so it'll only stress me if I can't do the stuff that I wanted to, so I won't think about what I want to do and just take it one day at a time. The Dokumi logo is so cute, very successful graphic design. Yeah, it's very cute. I like it. But yeah, aside from Dokumi preparations and me redecorating my entire apartment and everything, oh god, I played a really cool 100-line route. The route that I was on finally ended, and now I'm doing like the little endings that branch off of that one. It's very cool, very cool. You should play 100-line. I will never stop talking about it. You'll still hear me talking about it in 6 months, because that's just how long it's gonna take me to play the game more. I'm at 23 endings, which is not a lot. It's gonna take forever. It's gonna take forever. Hello, Cat and Hats. Hi, welcome in. Hope you're doing good. 100-line is forever. Yeah, truly. I haven't gotten anywhere with it. I've been playing it every day. Even if it's only for like 10 minutes, I'll play a little bit so I don't get out of the habit of playing it. Because the thing is, I've stopped myself from reading or playing literally anything else until I finish 100-line. Because if I start reading Dungeon Meshi, which I've gotten like halfway through, I will forget 100-line exists and I'll just read Dungeon Meshi. Or if I keep reading Crest of the Stars, I'm just gonna keep reading that and forget about everything else. So for now, the priority is to get through 100-line, because that's gonna take me the longest by far. I just want it out of the way, and also it's just really fun and kind of addicting and amazing. It's a good game. It's a 10 out of 10 best game ever. It's really good. 100-line is Spooky's life now. It sure is. I've been only on Final Fantasy XIV. Honestly, that's fair. That's also a highly addictive game. I can't justify paying for it monthly, so I've given up on playing it. I wanted to keep playing through Heaven's Ward and stuff like that, but I haven't. I'm thinking about making a new account so that I can play through the main stories through the free trial. Also, thank you for the 3 stream streak, Amades. Thank you. No, I bought... I bought the subscription for Final Fantasy XIV because I was playing with friends, and you can't create a party if you don't have someone with a subscription. So I bought it, and now I can't play it for free, even though I only got through Heaven's Ward. I don't know why I haven't really noticed Spooky having fangs until now. Yeah, you haven't seen? Look at that. Look at my mouth. Yeah, this is very close. I feel nervous. Hello. Just let people invite you. How does that work? I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. Can you play with friends who are also on the free trial? I don't know how that works. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know how anything works. Look at those chompers. Beautiful, aren't they? Someone with a paid account has to make a party, unfortunately. I don't have friends who have a... I guess I could just make a whole new account and then make a party with my... Oh no, but then I would have to pay to log into my paid account. Oh god. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad out here. Have you ever been to Düsseldorf, Spooky? I've been to Nordrhein-Westfalen, which is the, so to say, state or province that Dorf is in. But I've never been in Düsseldorf. I've passed through it by train, I'm sure, at some point. Probably, I don't know. I think I might have been at the train station in Düsseldorf one time because the train didn't take me where I actually wanted to go, and then I had to be picked up in Düsseldorf. But I've never been there because I wanted to be there. You know, does that make sense? Willingly. I've never been there willingly. Other people can invite you to a party. Worst case, you just ask a rando to make it, invite you all, and have them leave again. Party stays up. No, that requires me to have social skills. You know, a lot of people think that people who stream are very, like, easy people to talk to, but I'm not. I can't talk to people. I'm so shy. You have no idea. I have such big issues chatting people up in video games and be like, hi, hello. I can't do it. Turns out Spooky was actually a vampire. That's funny because my first model parent actually thought my character was a vampire, and they gave me incredible fangs. But I don't use that model anymore. I've tried to be comfortable with it, but it just doesn't really represent me anymore. My taste changed so much in like the 2 months of me having it. Actually, the design existed for like 6 or 8 months, something along those lines, before I finally got the model, so my taste changed very much in those couple of months, unfortunately. I will do it for you. I'm on European servers, though. I'm also on European servers. But I'd have to make a new account now and play through the entirety of the first story that I forgot the name of. I'd have to play through all of that again. Oh god, actually just thinking about it makes me dizzy. I played so much. I did so many side quests and so many things. Oh, I wish you could just like play on the free trial. Even after you've paid. Just let me log back in. What do you mean? Spooky is an extrovert, right? Sure. Not really. Not at all, in fact. I struggle speaking to people. I'm sorry. I'm not who you think I am. I hide behind my mask of cutest cat girl EU. My social skills are also... Yeah, I don't think I've ever talked to someone in Final Fantasy. I think I only talked to Pawn one time when I met them in game. That's it. I was like, hi, that's it. And that made my heart race so fast. I was like, oh my god, I said hello. The free trial goes all the way to the final quest of Shadowbringers. That's so much stuff. Yeah, it has a lot of content, and I made the mistake of paying for it. Oh, I feel so silly now. But I also wanted to, like, play the fashion game. And I bought so many, like, clothes and stuff, and dyes and whatnot. Now I can't use any of it because I don't want to pay for the subscription. Hello, Costco. Hi, hi. Yes, A Realm Reborn. Here, you can see my hand. ARR is so long. I was doing it on an alt, skipping everything, and it was still a pain. Yeah, it takes a long time. I've done ARR 3 times and I enjoyed it every time. I'm an outlier. I liked it, but it took a lot of time, I'm not gonna lie. It was weeks and months of playing, and also like the job classes, class quests is what I wanted to say, job quests. That took a long time. That was months of gameplay. So now I'm just like, oh gosh, I don't have that time anymore. I think was I in between jobs when I started playing it? I think I might have been in between jobs, so I had a lot of time on my hands. I was adopted by the hunt people on my server, even ran some hunt trains where I'd go around screaming special mobs to kill. Hunt people? Do you mean like the game Hunt? Or is that like a thing that you can do in Final Fantasy XIV? I just enjoy creating a character in my head instead of playing. That is also fair. My little Blorbo. I always changed my race in Final Fantasy. I couldn't decide between a Lalafell and the cats. What are they called again? I think I enjoyed playing as the cat more because Lalafells kind of feel out of place in some of the cutscenes. They look so stupid, and I can't take them seriously sometimes. Back when I played Final Fantasy XIV, I never talked to anyone. That's so fair. That's so fair. I never did, except for my friends, of course, but... What job did you pick? I picked, was it White Mage? That's the one I think I played. It's the only one I played, actually, even though I did play quite a bit of it. I never wanted to play anything except for White Mage. I want to reach level 100 on all classes before new expansion this time. That's a big feat. You can do it. I believe in you. Kote, yes, that's the cat. Hunts are overworld special monsters that spawn sometimes with different rarities. Oh, yeah, I never did that. I never did that. Hunt trains where they go around grabbing them all. Okay, that's pretty cool. That sounds fun. I was a Lancer. I never played that. I never played anything. I want to try some more classes if I ever get back into it. I have 2 at 100 already, so only a few more to go. 2? Out of how many? Isn't there like quite a few? I think nowadays I want to try the Gladiator. I think I still want to go with White Mage. White Mage was so fun. It was very stressful at times, but very fun. Lowe's is my monk, and RDM around 60. Everything else is 70 and above. Okay. That's pretty good. That shouldn't take too long. 21, 19 maybe. I mean, that's doable. That's doable if you hustle. Dark Knight, Paladin, and Gunsword. I think... Oh, there was one... Oh, which one was it? There was one mage class that I was very interested in. There's also Astrologer, which I thought looked kind of fun. ARR healing is the hardest healing ever gets outside of raids, in my opinion. It was quite hard. It was quite difficult. Especially, like... I think my biggest struggle with Final Fantasy XIV was how to configure my button layout. I used to play with keyboard and then it got too much. So I switched over to controller, and relearning everything after you've been playing for quite a few hours already was a struggle. It was not very easy, and it was hard. Yeah, it was fun, but it was very hard. I think I want to get one of those MMO mouses or something. Mice? Not mouses. That's not the plural. Mice. Hello, Molly. Hi. Welcome in. Thank you for toggling the glasses. I'm actually not wearing any glasses right now, so this is lore accurate. Thank you. Hope you're good. The Paladin and Warrior are maxed. For some reason, Final Fantasy XIV is the one game I like tanking in. I never tried tanking, but I've seen how people talk to people that play tank, and I don't think I could do it. The pressure is on. If I make a mistake, everyone hates me. Everyone will hate your guts. Also, people just sometimes rush in because they don't understand that the tank has to take aggro, and then they take aggro, and then they die, and then everyone dies, and then it's not fun, and then I cry, and then they start yelling at each other in chat, and then everyone is mad, and everyone has a bad time, and I don't want to be in that position. I just want to be a silly little mage that is like, yeah, hi. Hello, Aviona. Hi. Tank is so much fun, genuinely. I have to try it, maybe. I have to try it at some point. I do controller. It's good. It works pretty well, actually. Be my pocket mage. I will. Trust. I will get back into it at some point. Hopefully. When I finish 100 line. Give me like a year to finish 100 line, and then maybe I'll play Final Fantasy XIV again. Because I'll be done with a big commitment game. Let's both finish Hunline. We can do it. Yeah. Final Fantasy is a lot of fun. In American servers, I haven't seen many people be outright toxic in dungeons. Sometimes it happens. I've seen it way too many times, actually. A lot of the time. People are very angry in European servers for some reason. I don't know what it is. But I've seen people get really mad. There'll always be some weirdos, but honestly, I've really only met very nice people. Yeah, most of them are very nice, but I have had very many instances where people are super, like, not toxic. I wouldn't say toxic, but very passive-aggressive towards each other. And then they will just stop tanking. Like, I've had a tank just go AFK because he was so mad. It was very funny. Even though that dungeon took forever. That was very hilarious. Scream at my healing only time I saw someone get kicked. I don't think I've ever seen someone get kicked, but I've seen people go AFK. And then they were so mad that they never came back. The community is very nice to newcomers and generally really welcoming. Yeah, I think if you just don't, you know, mess up in dungeons on purpose, or if you're like, I don't know, super bad, people won't do anything silly. I remember people helping us to get a mount. Yeah, people were super nice in that game. Like, we were trying to get some like mounts, and they went out of their way to like help us get some Pegasus mounts. Yeah, it was very nice. I've had a tank completely under-geared before too, and he didn't listen to a single thing or wait for us, so I became the tank and my friend healed me and the other DPS for the rest of the dungeon. Yeah, you know, sometimes if the tank is a little bit of an ass, all you need is a healer that is willing to help you out, and then you can do it without the tank. It's fine. Usually. Sometimes it won't, but yeah, it's okay. Pegasi, Pegasuses, Pega plural. You understand. Okay, anyway. Let's play Umineko. I didn't plan to talk for this long, but talking about Final Fantasy XIV actually made me want to install it again. I wanna play it again. Maybe I should play through ARR again just so I can catch up on the lore again, because I kind of forgot what the game is about. So I think if I want to play anything, I'll have to play ARR again, and then I can also see what was his name? The white-haired elf guy. Oh my god, I love him so much, but I forgot his name. Alphino. I'm sure I said his name completely wrong, but that guy, I love him. He's cool. And I like his ARR voice. They changed it in Heaven's Ward. And I think for all the other expansions too, but I preferred his ARR voice, so I will get to listen to his smug-ass British voice again. Hehehehe. Which race and classes would the Ushiromias be? The most toxic one. I don't know. The most toxic one. The dragon boys, something like that. I don't know. Luckily, nothing bad has happened in Umineko. Yeah, no one got killed or anything. It's not like 6 people died. Don't worry about it. Alphino, my chud son. He's a cutie. I love him. He was a prick in ARR. He was, but I loved him for it. I like prick characters. If you couldn't already tell by my favorite character becoming Nagito Komaeda and Eito Aotsuki. Both prick characters, absolute assholes, gaslighting assholes, but I love them. They're awesome. Okay, let's go here. Yeah, let's turn this on. Oh god, there's a lot going on. Hello, this is how it's supposed to be, right? Well, let me make myself smaller. Wow, that's so weird, isn't it? Let me put that away. I'm gonna take out the candle for the mood, for the vibe. I feel like I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Oh yeah, I was gonna apologize for never posting on time on social media, like the uploads and everything. I don't know who follows the YouTube uploads and whatnot through social media. I'm sure some people do, but I don't really use my PC every single day, so I will just not log in and make those posts. So I'll just do them whenever I'm on my PC next, which was today. So I'm very sorry, but I wouldn't rely on that ever. My social media posts. I'm sorry. On family vacation. Eva, Astrologian, Rudolph, Gunbreaker, Klaus. I read that a masochist, Machinist, Rosa, Black Mage. I can see it. I can see it. Though I don't know if I would see as Eva as Astrolog. Oh, I can't read that. I'm sorry. I can't say it, rather. I think I would see her as Black Mage, and Rosa would be... Actually, I think that class is more like a witchy type class. Maybe Maria would be that class, you know? Okay. Should I move myself a little bit more to the right? Like this? My mom. And then I do this. And then I adjust the audio before I forget. Imagine if I hadn't saved. I actually wasn't sure if I saved. I didn't save on stream, but luckily I did it before I turned my PC off. That would have been tragic. I'm trying to think about what happened. So, everything that happened last time. We had the super cringe scene between Joji and Shannon, and then he proposed to her. And then the first day came to a close, and then it's the second day today. Natsuhi woke up and she had some weird red paint, wink wink, on her doorknob, and it was like all scratched up. Probably averted death by putting the charm that Jeshka gave her on the door. Then everyone went missing. Then we came to the storage shed for the rose garden, for the gardening tools. And we found 6 corpses, all really beat up. Also the shutter to the storage house, I think, had some kind of weird magic witchy symbol drawn with blood that I don't think everyone saw yet. I think only a handful of people saw that. And so far, I think only Genji made the connection that it kind of looked like the same type of liquid was used on Natsuhi's door. And, like, yeah, all of their bodies were mutilated after death. All of their faces were, like, mushed in. I forgot what word they used. Smashed. It just says smashed. Like, plowed, I think is what it said last time. They're all dead. They're all dead. And, right. And then, this was the first Twilight, so... Shall tear apart the two who are close. So those who remain will tear apart the two who are close, which I don't know who that would be referring to. Out of everyone here, the only people I would... say are close to each other would be these two, as they are married. I can't see anyone else being close. Maybe Genji and Kinzo are close. These two aren't really close. The cousins are close, but not that close, you know? So I would say it's probably gonna hit these two. They kind of deserve it, not gonna lie to you. Those who remain shall praise my noble name, gouge the head and kill. Gouge the chest and kill, gouge the stomach and kill, gouge the knee and kill, gouge the leg and kill. That's very obscure. I don't know what that's referring to. But yeah, anyway, I think after finding the bodies and me crying a little because it was pretty sad, even though I didn't really approve of the relationship between Joji and Shannon, I think Hideyoshi started to question the murder and how it worked exactly, since I think, if I remember correctly, Kanon took the key out of the servant's room and then he opened the door for them, and apparently something about this is fishy. I don't know what is yet, but we will find out, I think. Someone must have taken the key from the servant's room, used it to store the bodies, and brought it back. Maybe that's what he finds weird, because not everyone might have access to the storage room key. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't think they mentioned anything. Also, yeah, they touched everything, so... Fingerprints, hard. They contacted the police. Yeah. I think that's about everything that happened. Very... short summary, but a lot of things happened. Also, hello Kame. Hi, welcome in. I think that's it. Close it up. Let me just see real quick, because I ended very abruptly in the middle of them talking about this. When it came here, the shutter was locked. That means the culprit used the key to the shutter to unlock it. To lock it, sorry. Makes sense. Does that mean that the key who opens the shutter will have the culprit's fingerprints? Blah, blah, blah. There's no other keys. They walked out of the servant room with that key and then was nice enough to return the key to where they found it. Okay. Too bad Ushiromiya Conan wasn't available for this family reunion. Yeah, where is Detective Conan? What was his actual name? Shinichi Kudo? Something like that. I forgot his actual name. Lovely to see you again and going through more Umineko. Yes! I'm very excited for it. It's very fun so far. That is correct. Nice. Okay, let's keep reading. After 40 minutes of me yapping. Hideyoshi's theory sounded plausible, but was actually very strange if you thought about it. Why would they go to all the trouble of returning a key they stole? Now, if you think about it even more deeply, there are some points that are even more bizarre. When a criminal hides a body, they're usually trying to delay the point at which it'll be found so they can use that time to escape. The six weren't necessarily killed here, but it was reasonable to assume that they were killed somewhere on this island, carried to the storehouse, and hidden to delay the discovery of the crime. And yet, the eerie magic circles scribbled on the storehouse shutter had eloquently indicated the location of the hidden corpses. Where were they killed, I wonder? Because they ran all over the mansion and they didn't find any blood or anything, so they must have been killed somewhere else entirely. Never watched or read Conan. It's been a long time. I think I was like 14 when I last watched it. Sure, it didn't explicitly mention the corpses, but 6 people had gone missing. In that situation, someone had made such an obvious piece of graffiti and even returned the key to the shutter. almost as though they wanted the corpses here to be discovered.
とにかく一度は犯人が開け閉めをした施錠だけでは信用できませ
Very
ん。
strange. Anyway, we can't put all our faith in a lock that the culprit has opened once
犯人
before.
の手からもこの場所を保護する意味で施錠を新たにしたいと言っているのです。
If you want to protect this place from the culprit's hands, I think we should put a new lock on it. Is there like any way that the culprit could have like entered this storehouse any other way? I wonder. I don't know if there's like any windows or something. Not that that would be very practical to shove 6 bodies through a window, but could explain why the key was so nicely returned. I met Conan on American TV for a brief time when I was a lad, so I've seen like maybe 50 episodes or something. Yeah, that's about the same for me. They showed it on TV after I got home from school and stuff, so it was fun to watch.
いい案だと思います。
I think that is a good plan.
私も賛成です。
I agree. Genji fished around inside the storehouse and unsealed a brand new padlock that had been inside a small box.
鍵はどうなさいますか?
What should I do with the key?
私が持ちましょう。
I will take it.
責任を持って警察に手渡します。
I will take responsibility and hand it over to the police. Natsui took the key to the padlock from Genji's hand. After that, they all exited and lowered the shutter. And so the corpses were once again sealed behind that shutter, which was still covered with that creepy magic circle. Genji crouched down in front of the shutter to fasten the new padlock. Shutters often have a place in front where you can attach your own lock, in addition to the main lock of the shutter. This was one of those types. So there's 2 locks? In the midst of the roar of thunder and the pouring rain, the storehouse stood there, ominously. With its closed shutters still covered in a blood-like creepy substance, it swallowed up the bodies of the 6. To Natsuhi, putting the new lock on wasn't mainly to preserve the scene for the police. She might have felt like she wanted to shut that mouth for all eternity. To prevent that eerie beast from swallowing up any more victims.
さあ、行きましょう。皆
I
さん。
figured that when she saw the magic circle, she'd feel super creeped out because, you know, the red substance on her door and everything. Come on, everyone, let's go.
南條先生、ご足労をありがとうございました。
Dr. Nanjo, thank you very much for your work.
現時は急いで警察に連絡を。
Genji, hurry and contact the police.
戻りましたらすぐに連絡します。
I will do so as soon as I return. The adults left the storehouse. The ghastly magic circle drawn on the shutter kept the 6 bodies in its throat, looming eerily as the lightning occasionally lit it up. I wish I could read what it says. Oh, my little ad window broke. Which ads? Okay. I can't see when the next ad break is going to be, but I guess we'll just see. It broke for me. Oh, no, it shows up now. Okay. We have a lot of time. All that could be heard was the sound of the rain, the voices from the kids' TV program Maria was watching, and the engrossed Maria's cackling voice. At least she's still here. She didn't just leave. In other words, what greeted them as they returned dumbfounded from that horrible, bizarre scene was the voice of Maria as she rolled around laughing at the TV. Man, Higurashi must be a blast to watch on TV. Those who returned to the room didn't know how to explain to Maria that her mother was dead and were trapped by a suffocating silence. Oh, I didn't even think about the fact that they would have to tell her that her mother died. I don't know if they should tell her. What's the best way to tell a 9-year-old that her mother was killed in a brutal way while she was asleep? I don't know that I could. I think I would just not tell her. I don't know. Maybe I'd be like, yeah, your mom left. She will. You won't see her for a little while, and then after a little while passes, I guess you could say, oh, I guess she will never come back. I think that's horrible too. But I don't know that I could tell a 9-year-old, hey, your mom just died. You will never see her again, especially when she's doing so well. I feel like they should not tell her anything yet, maybe? Maybe once the police shows up. If they ever do. At first, Maria returned their stares with a dubious look, but when she realized they weren't trying to blame her for anything, she ignored them and again immersed herself in the TV program. That's rough. No more beatings, Maria. True? I mean, that's a positive, but also... You're now an orphan, maybe? I don't know what is with her dad. Maybe she isn't an orphan. We don't know. The children wordlessly sat down heavily on the sofa. Their minds were probably blank from their state of shock. Everyone had already cried and mourned so much, but now they just vaguely sat there, their faces seeming to have lost all emotion. Only Kanan had returned to his usual calm expression. However, that probably didn't mean he'd be able to wipe out the shock. Nothing was reflected in his eyes as he stared into empty space. You can say ooh whenever you want. That's actually good news. You don't have to change. That's probably gonna traumatize her for life though. Nothing positive, really. Hideyoshi kept on fidgeting, and every time he remembered that horrible scene, he started muttering about how he couldn't believe it, how it couldn't have been something from this world, how it must have been the work of demons. Every now and then, his mutterings produced a question directed at Nanjo. But the latter kept repeating in a calm, doctor-like manner that nothing could be understood by only glancing at the scene. And that, until the police arrived, they wouldn't learn anything. However, Nanjo only appeared calm next to Hideyoshi, who simply couldn't suppress his agitation and fear. In fact, Nanjo had also received a huge shock, and his face was deathly pale. Maybe that atmosphere was why she tried to rise to the challenge and take charge. Natsuya appeared to be unchanged from her normal attitude, and she briskly gave directions.
私はお父様のところへ行ってきます。
I will go see father.
源氏は急ぎ警察へ連絡を。
Genji, quickly contact the police.
かしこまりました。
Certainly.
私も一緒させていただいていいかしら、夏日姉さん。
I wonder if you would allow me to tag along
ク
Natsuhine-san.
ラウス兄さんがいなくなった以上、お父様の補佐は私の仕事だもの。
Since Klaus Nisan is now gone, the task of aiding father has been left to me.
その私が夏日姉さんに任せっきりで、ここでくつろいでいるわけにはいかないわ。
It would be improper of me to relax here while relying entirely on you. How can she talk in this way after seeing her older brother and her younger brother and his wife all dead, plowed after their death on the ground? I don't understand how she can be this smug about it. What is up with this woman? Eva's made of steel. She is scary as hell. I can't understand her demeanor at all. She's the only sibling left. True. Yeah. Oh my god. I didn't even realize. Could she possibly have killed them? I doubt it. I don't think... Could she? Could I see her killing people? 6 people? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe she could. Maybe she could kill 6 people. Less obstacle for inheritance, huh? Yeah. I bet Eva would gas a whole village just to prove a point. Oh god. She would. She would. That would be kind of funny if... if the same VA killed a mass murderer again! Hello, Nayud. Hi. You didn't miss too much. We just started playing like 20 minutes ago? Look at those eyes. She has to have done it. Yeah, and she's so relaxed after the fact and everything. She could have done this. So I can see that the next Twilight could be trying to tear these two apart if all the suspicion falls on, well, her maybe, and he starts doubting her too, because, you know, she's been pretty cold and trying to pick a fight with people all the time. I could see it. Natsuyu was struck speechless by Eva's aggressive move in a situation like this. She seemed to be claiming that with Klaus dead, the one to take responsibility shouldn't be his wife, but herself, the next highly ranked in the family. Or maybe she hadn't been at all happy when Natsuhi took command without reference to her in such an extreme situation. However, even Eva's mind had been blank from shock until a moment ago. She only came to her senses after Natsuhi started giving orders.
お好きになさるといいでしょう。
Just do as you like. Natsuhi started walking without saying a word more. Eva followed behind her. As they did, Kumasawa ran into the parlor. She usually wasn't the kind of person to run around, so under normal conditions, most people would have taken her entrance as sign that something was the matter. But because everyone was still stricken with shock, they hardly even noticed her. Oh god, what happened now?
奥様
Madam...
奥様
Madam...
夏日姉さんならお父さんのところへ行ったで。
If you're looking for Natsuhine-san, she went to see
す
father.
ぐ戻ってくるやろ。
She'll probably be back soon.
どないしたんや、熊沢さん。
What happened, Kumasawa-san? Loving the theory already, Spooky? Thank you, thank you.
それが食堂に
Oh,
血が
you see, in the dining hall there was blood. Blood! The ears of everyone in the parlor twitched. Everyone thought the same thing. I hope I misheard that. Any container can only hold so much, and no one here would be capable of handling yet another tragedy. So they all thought it. I hope I misheard that.
なんやて？
What happened?
食堂？
In the dining hall?
朝食の準備に
When I went to the dining hall
食堂に配膳に行ったら
to set up for breakfast. Oh man, I'm so sorry. That's too much for an old lady to bear, I think. She does not deserve to see that. Who dropped their bucket of blood. Maybe that's where they were killed, you know? Yeah, oh my god, yeah, they haven't even eaten yet. How could they now after seeing such a thing? Oh man. Does Kumasawa even know that people were killed? I doubt it. She wasn't involved, so she probably doesn't know, so that came as a shock to her. Blood all over the dining hall. Oh my god. But were they in the dining hall before? I don't really understand the layout. What room is the TV in? Is that like a separate little living room? I'm guessing it is, so the dining hall must be an entirely different room then. I don't know if they were in the dining hall before all of this happened. The first one to start running was Joji. His harsh footsteps jogged Hideyoshi and Anjo to their senses, and they chased after him. Batara and the others followed. They flew into the dining hall one after another, but they didn't find any change that might have caused Kumasawa to go pale. To those who had viewed that gruesome scene in the storehouse, it was a bit of an anticlimax. However, Kumasawa, who had followed them, pointed it out. There really were some traces of blood remaining on the floor. Compared to that terrible scene, it wasn't very impressive. However, if you calmly thought about it, this definitely indicated the loss of a lot of blood.
ここにも血だまりがあるよ。
So maybe they were all brought in here and then killed? The TV room is separate from the dining room, if I have the anime and manga correct. I would actually love to have like a mansion layout, you know? I think that'd be good. But we don't have that. I would love to see the individual rooms. There's another puddle of blood over here.
これは一体
What in the world?
だいぶ時間が経っているように見えますな。
It appears that a great deal of time has
お
passed.
そらく昨べ、ここで殺されたんだと見ていいでしょう。
It's probably safe to say that they were killed here last night.
そういうことになるんやろな。
It definitely looks that way.
わしらは昨べずっと食堂で話し合いをしとった。
We were talking together in the dining hall until late into the night.
そしてここに何者かが押し入ったに違いない。
After that, someone must have forced their way in.
父さんたちが打ち合わせを抜けて休んだのは何時だっけ？
Dad, when did you and Mom slip out of the meeting and go to sleep?
昨夜の24時を少し過ぎたくらいの頃や。
It was a little past midnight,
だから
so
その後に
we should probably
と
assume
考えるんが妥当やろな。
it happened after that.
マジかよ
I wonder how many puddles of blood there are. because Shannon never entered this room. She was, you know, patrolling the mansion and like checking that all the windows and stuff were locked, so she must have been killed somewhere else. I'm also surprised that they checked, according to them, they checked every room in the mansion, but Kana never mentioned there being blood in the dining hall. So I'm surprised that they're only now finding out about the blood in the dining hall when they supposedly already ran through the mansion. I'm confused how they couldn't notice multiple puddles of blood, but what do I know? Are you kidding me?
勘弁してくれよ。
Give me a break.
お嬢様、しっかり。
Milady, please stay strong. Care to explain, Kanan? Why didn't you mention this blood before?
俺はもうさっきの倉庫でこの世の地獄ってやつを拝んじまったから今さらこのくらいじゃ答えねえぜ。
After seeing that hell on earth in the storehouse, this is nothing.
そうかよ。よかったな。
Really? Good for you.
私は頭がどうにかなっちまいそうだぜ。
I feel like my head's gonna explode.
ここは食堂だぜ。
This is the dining hall, right?
私は毎日ここで食事をして、学校のことをぼやいたり、宿題のことをぼやいたり。
Well, that's no good. Every day, this is where I'd eat, complain about school, complain about
親
homework,
父に学校の成績の話をされたり。
talk to my dad about my grades.
そういうところなんだぜ。
That's what this place is to me. This is her house. This has a different meaning for her. Maybe we need to own a mansion to understand. Maybe. I mean, maybe they didn't think bloodstain until corpses dropped. I mean, what else would it be? Puddles of ketchup? You know, I can see how maybe they thought it was paint. Really, really red tea. I don't know. Maybe, okay, dried blood also looks a little different, so maybe they thought it was a different kind of stain. I can see it. I can see it. Wine. That's also a good one. Yeah, could have been wine. It would be a lot darker in color, so it could be mistaken for wine. I can see that. That makes sense.
お嬢様、
Milady,
これ以上ここにいるのはよくありません。
it wouldn't be good to remain here any
客
longer.
間へ戻りましょう。
Let's return to the parlor.
俺の同感さ。
I agree.
秀吉おじさん、
Uncle Hideyoshi.
この部屋は多分警察にとって重要な意味があると思います。
I think this room will be really important to the
俺
police.
たちが踏み荒らしちまうのはまずいんじゃないですか。
Don't you think it'd be bad if we trampled all over it? Badara proposed this in a slightly firm voice as, along with Kanon, he grabbed the pale and shaking Jessica's shoulders.
バトラさんの言う通りですな。
Everything is just as Batora-san has
こ
said.
の部屋にこれ以上好んで居続けることはありますまい。
There's nothing more to be gained from remaining in this room. Andre spoke while looking at everyone's pale faces. Even though that horrible scene in the storehouse felt like something not of this world, at least then we'd be able to leave, to cut ourselves off from that place and run away. Everyone had shared in that feeling. However, this dining hall was different. It wasn't the mansion, the main building on this estate, and as Jessica had said, it should have been one of the most calming places even inside the mansion. It was where all of the relatives had eaten lunch and dinner yesterday. The shock of seeing this place smeared with blood reminded us of that horrible spectacle in the storehouse, and forced us to accept that we hadn't really been able to run away from the scene of that tragedy. I know they don't want to do it because they're all in shock and they just want to forget about what happened and, you know, get their mind off of things, but I am actually very intrigued by the amount of blood puddles that there are. I want to know how many people have been possibly killed in this room, and whether or not there might be another bloodstain in a completely different room. Because if there's 6 in this room, that would mean that Shannon at some point entered this room, which I would wonder about why she would. But maybe they'll talk about it after all.
わしも同感や。
I agree
こ
too.
の部屋には犯人の痕跡が残ってるかもわからんしな。
The culprit might have left traces in this
素
room.
人のわしらがかき回すべきとちゃうで。
Amateurs like us shouldn't stir the place up.
はよ出るんや。
Let's leave quickly.
はよはよ。
Quickly, quickly. Hideyoshi also understood the meaning of what Batora had said and pushed everyone to hurry out of the dining hall. The way we were then, looking at that blood any longer would have been too harsh. Nobody went against his words. Everyone raised each other out of the dining hall. It was almost as though the last person in the room would be trapped in there, all alone. I wonder if they can lock this up too, so no one enters and messes with evidence and stuff. Once in the hallway, we lent a hand to Kumasawa, who was still trembling and leaning against the wall, and we all headed back to the parlor together. Then Genji returned.
お、源氏さん。
Oh, Genji-san,
警察に連絡はつきましたか？
were you able to contact the police?
それが申し訳ございません。
As to that, I'm afraid I must apologize. I'm creeped out?
無線機の故障か、それ以外の理由によるものかわかりませんが。
The music change is so scary! I don't know if it was a failure of the radio or something else that caused it, but...
なんや、警察に連絡がつかんのか。
What the... So you couldn't contact the police?
電話も無線もどっちもダメなんか。
Both the phone and the radio failed?
申し訳ございません。
My apologies.
月曜の朝に船が来ることになっていますので、その船の通信機を借りることができると思います。
A boat will be arriving on Monday morning, and I believe we will be able to borrow their communications equipment.
この島には船はないんか。
Isn't there a boat on this island?
新島の警察署までちょっくら行ってくることはできんのか。
Can't we just take a little trip out to the Nijima Police Department?
秀吉さん、この天気では無理だ。
Hideyoshi-san, that would be impossible with this weather.
少なくとも台風が通り過ぎるまではどうにもなりません。
At the very least, we can't do anything until the typhoon passes us by.
クラウス様のボートは今修理中で
Oh,
島
man.
にございません。
Klaus-sama's boat is being repaired and is not on the
で
island.
すので月曜の船を待つほかないかと。
Therefore, we must wait for the boat coming on Monday. But what if the typhoon never stops? What if this is like part of some kind of magic and whatever, and they will never be able to contact the police until this is all over, you know? I feel like that might be plausible. Kind of sad to think about the fact that we might not get a detective type of character, but maybe it's too soon to say that, you know? Maybe the weather will be better on Monday, but I feel like until everything is over, which would be a couple of days according to the little tip that we can read, the little epitaph, I have a feeling they'll be stuck here for like a week or so. So, no police. What do you mean there are downsides to a private island? I don't understand. I mean, yeah. If there's like no other infrastructure, nothing except for one singular mansion, then that's pretty bad. You're basically all on your own. It's also kind of... I feel like... if they really have like no boat at all, that's scary to think about, because if the typhoon doesn't pass, will they have enough food? Where do they get their food from? I'm sure that they will have people coming over and bring them food and whatnot, but if they can't have anyone come over and give them food, won't they just starve within? Maybe they have enough food for a week. They're rich people after all, but still, I'd be worried about that stuff. That also means that the culprit wasn't able to leave. That too, because you'll just be stuck with the culprit there for at least like a week or so, and, well, I'm pretty sure that more people will die after this particular night as well, as it talks about people being torn apart, and, you know, I feel like we should take that quite literally. I have a feeling it won't be the relationship that'll be torn apart, but people literally torn from limb to limb. I hope not, but I can see it. I can see it happening. I don't know. Maybe it won't. But seeing as how brutal this was, yeah, I feel like two people might be torn apart by next night. Hello, Noel. Hi, welcome in.
そんなアホな話があるか。
How could this happen?
6人も死んだやで。
6 people are
そ
dead.
して電話も無線も通じず、船もない。
The phones and radio aren't working and there's no boat.
台風が過ぎて船が来るまで、つまり明日の朝までわしらは警察にも連絡できず、この島におれっちゅうことなんか？
So, until the typhoon passes and the boat comes, in other words, until tomorrow morning, we're gonna be stuck here on this island? Unable to contact the police, aren't we?
ってことはつまり
Which means
俺
that
たちだけじゃなく
not just
おじ
us,
さんたちを殺した犯人もこの島から出られず足止めってことだな。
but the criminal who killed everyone is also confined to this island.
そういうことになるね。
Oh, surely this won't tear the family apart even more. Don't worry about it, they'll handle this just perfectly. That certainly
みんなを
follows.
殺した犯人はまだこの島にいる。
The culprit who killed everyone is still here on this island.
親父たちを殺した奴はこの島から逃げ出せずまだ潜んでやがるってことかよ。
So the bastard who killed Dad and the others must still be hiding somewhere, unable to escape. If they're talking about it like this, I'm hoping that Maria can't hear them. Maybe they're like whispering or something, or they're standing in a corner of the room.
くそくそくそくそ
Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it!
見つけ出してやるぜ。警察になんか引き渡すもんか。
I'll catch that bastard. No way I'll hand him over to the police.
私がこの手でやっつ先にしてやる。
I'll slice him to bits myself. Maria had finally realized that something odd was happening in the parlor. Rather than noticing something odd, it was probably better to say she felt unhappy and neglected, since everyone was getting so excited about something only she didn't know about. No!
ジェシカお姉ちゃん、誰か死んじゃったの？
Why would you say that? Jeshika One-chan, did someone die? That's unlike anything she said before. Why does she know that? How does she know? She's gonna be like, oh, you know, the epitaph said that people would die. Oh man. Jeshika's the Keiichi of the situation. True, true. Kind of. Very similar in that regard. Gulp. She was watching too much Higurashi. Oh no. Get her away from the TV. Ooh, teehee. It's quite funny how she says this with the little cat face. The way she spoke was completely calm, just as though she was talking about someone who had appeared on a television drama as though it was someone else's problem. Jishka probably didn't like that, as though trying to say, can't you tell just by looking at me, overwhelmed with grief? She flared up at Maria.
死んじまったぜ。みんなみんな。
They all died! Everyone! Everyone!
私の親父も、バトラの父さんと母さんも、
My dad and Batara's parents,
幸田さんもシャノンも、
Goda-san and Shannon,
そしてマリアの母さんも。
and even your mother too!
よすんだジェシカちゃん。
Oh man, well this is certainly a way to find out as a 9-year-old that your mother was brutally murdered. Hello Gragnorg, hi. It's going splendid! 6 people died. We were just telling a 9-year-old that her mother died too. It's wonderful. Stop it, Jeshika-chan.
悲しいのは君だけじゃない。
You aren't the only one who's sad.
マリアさん、ショックだろうが、聞いてください。
Maria-san, I know this will come as a shock, but please
あなた
listen.
のお母さんがな、
Your mother
死んでしまいました。
has died.
ママが死んじゃっ
Mama
た？
died.
ああ、誰かに殺されちまった。
Yeah, someone killed her.
悲しいだろうがよ。心をしっかり。
I know it's sad, but stay strong.
ふん。
Oh, she's gonna
何人
reference the epitaph. How many
死
people
んじゃった？
died? Oh, her voice is different
6
too.
人だぜ。
6 people.
6人だ。
6 people.
くそくそくそ。
Damn it, damn it, damn it.
あんな残酷なことしやがって。
How could anyone do something that cruel?
踊ってもんがあるだろうがよ。人間ならよ。
There's a limit to how cruel you can be if you're human.
誰だか知らねえが、犯人は人間じゃねえぜ。
I don't know who it is, but the culprit isn't human.
血の色が赤いわけがね
There's no way their blood is red.
うん。
Oh my, the voice change!
犯人は人間じゃない。
The culprit isn't human.
鍵が選んだ。生贄なだけ。
It's just the... chosen by the... I'm guessing the second missing word is which? Just the sacrifice, maybe?
Huh?
Huh?
Wait, Maria.
Did I even read that? Sorry, the corporate isn't human, it's just the blah blah chosen by the blah blah. Ooh. Oh. Hey, Maria.
今、なんて言った？
Did you say something just now? Maria had just said something, but since the words were so remotely separated from the flow and context of the conversation, I cannot read, I couldn't understand them for a second. And I tried to ask her to repeat it again. I was shocked by the sudden sound of Aunt Natsuhi's loud voice coming from the entrance of the parlor. It looked like Aunt Natsuhi and Aunt Eva had returned from their trip to see grandfather. I kind of expected it to go that way after she barely reacted to her mother's death. I thought that either she would have a meltdown and start ooh crying again, or she would have this type of reaction. But I didn't think it would actually happen. She is a little bit creepy, to say the least. It looked like Aunt Natsuhi and Aunt Eva had returned from the trip to see grandfather.
無線でも連絡できない？
Okay. Since she won't repeat that again, unfortunately. And there's gonna be an ad break in 4 minutes. Let's take it now. Man, I want to know what she was talking about. I'm upset. Rikishi really likes to make things interesting and then just stop explaining it and just switch the scene entirely. Thank you. Why would you do that to me constantly? I want to know what she was talking about. It was just getting interesting in regards to her. She clearly has something weird going on. I wonder if she's like connected to Beato, because she even looks similar to her, okay? I feel like they share some physical features in terms of like hair color, eye color, kind of. They look similar-ish, and she's been super weird. If you'd like, maybe during the break you can listen to the Hanyu song. I might. I'm gonna get up and stretch a little bit, drink some water, but if I don't have YouTube on my phone. I don't even know where my phone is, but I can listen to it on my tablet. I'll be right back. In 3 minutes. Meowdy. Kinda weird to walk around the apartment when everything is so dark, because I like closed all of the window not shutters, but like the curtains, and there's also like little like pull down thingies. I don't know what they're called. I'm sorry. It's like super dark in the apartment right now because I didn't want the rooms to heat up because the sun just shines directly on the windows and everything. Thank you. Welcome back to you too. Chosen by the key, at least that's what the audio said. I wish I could play the audio again like in Higurashi, but I don't know what I have to press or if it just won't let me. But it makes sense. It being chosen by the key would make sense. It's just the, I don't know, sacrifice chosen by the key or something? Which could also have made sense, but I didn't really listen to the audio. I was more so confused by the lack of visible text. But it does say key, so it would make sense. Yeah, the key chooses the sacrifices. Thank you. Welcome back to you too, Fita. Also, hello, Zero. Welcome in. I don't think you can. That's very unfortunate. I would love to listen to it again, because I'm guessing that it tells you more. I think we had like similar situations in Higurashi where they wouldn't fully like complete their sentences, and then you could hear roughly what they said in Japanese if you knew the words. Yeah, unfortunate, but it's okay. Audio is adjusted. Okay. You can't contact them even with the radio.
こんな時に使えなくて何のための防災無線ですか？
If we can't use it at a time like this, why do we even have an emergency radio?
申し訳ございません。
My apologies.
毎年、保守点検はさせているはずなのですが。
It was supposed to have a maintenance inspection every year.
ほら、光をチカチカさせるみたいな船舶信号ってあるじゃない？
Wait, don't you have one of those boat signaling devices that make a flashing light?
そういうので向こうの島に連絡することはできないのかしら？
Couldn't you use that to contact the next island?
そのような設備はございません。
We do not have such
申
equipment.
し訳ございません。
My sincere apologies. Why do they not have such equipment? They're the only ones on this island. They're super rich. Why do they not have this emergency equipment? That's crazy. Just then, Kumasawa arrived, pushing a serving cart loaded with breakfast. Since there was no way we'd be able to eat in the dining hall, Hideyoshi had ordered her to take it into the parlor. I don't know if I could eat after everything that happened. Oh, my
な
dog
ぜ朝
sneezed.
食をこちらに？
Bless you. If you hear strange sounds coming from my mic, it's my dog, trust. If only they had satellite internet. If only. Why are we eating breakfast here?
ああ、夏日さん、それは後で話す。
Natsuhi-san, I'll tell you later.
それよりエヴァ、お父さんはどうなんや？
More importantly, Eva, how was father?
ご一緒でないところを見ると、
Judging by the fact that he is not with you,
このような事態になっても、部屋から出ませんか。
it seems he will not leave his room, not even for a situation like this. I feel like he already saw this coming. Gesundheit.
いないわ。
He wasn't
部
there.
屋は空っぽだったのよ。
The room was empty. Ah, we learned that sound means that things got updated. Oh, he's missing. I see. Disappeared from his study unnoticed. Kinzo's study has everything from a bed to a toilet to a bathtub, so it is extremely rare for him to go outside. However, he does occasionally go out for a walk on a whim without telling anybody, and his disappearance invariably leads to a huge uproar throughout the house. He usually comes back as soon as he gets hungry. Usually. Does that mean that he won't come back? He's gone. He left to see Beato. He's looking for her in the forest as we speak. He's secretly hoping that he'll be the last one. Probably. That's probably fine. Usually he comes back. No reason to assume that he won't come back this time with the way that was worded. Don't worry about it. He's gone. Maria wooed him out of existence. Damn. What a day to go for a walk. Isn't it still raining and everything? This man is gonna go for a walk in the typhoon? I can see it. He's crazy enough to do it, but still, why? Is Kinzo a street cat? True! Kinzo is a street cat. That is actually really funny. Someone give him cat ears and a cat tail. Give him lots of pets for no reason, just to annoy him. Scratch his belly so that he gets angry.
なんやて？
Insane trek. What the?
こんな時にどこ行ったんや？
Where could he have gone at a time like this?
親方様が書斎を出られたというのですか？
Do you mean to say the master has left his study?
そうです。私も驚いています。
That is correct. I was surprised myself.
いつの間に部屋を出たのやら。
I wonder when he left his room.
あなたたちに心当たりはないのですか？
Do any of you have an idea? Also unfortunate that most of them were outside when he left, so no one saw him? Natsuya looked at Genji and Kanon as she said this. Maybe she was trying to ask whether the servants who served directly under the one-winged eagle knew of a place he might go. However, it was probably the other way around. Their faces made it clear that those who knew Kinzo best realized even more than the rest how impossible it was for him to leave his room.
僕たちにも見当がつきません。
Even we have no idea. Hello, Kay. Kay Legal? I'm just gonna say Kay. I hope that's okay. Hello. Calling Kinzo a cat the way that box is empty. His room? He saw them off at the shed and saw his chance to escape. He was like, finally, these fucks are gone. I can leave. He's the type to jump from his balcony so no one sees him leaving. He's that antisocial.
ご存知の通り、親方様はあの書斎の中に、お休みの場所からご浮上まで全てを設けさせました。
It's kind of unsettling in a calming way, you know? Also sounds kind of... I don't know. This feels like something that could play in a church. It's kind of unsettling. Churches are kind of creepy. He's not a bat, though. How would he be able to glide? He'd survive that jump. Don't worry about it. The choir, probably. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like church choir-ish. Eerie Discovery. This track is really good. I've never heard it before. Like most of the tracks, but this one's really good. I like it. As you all know, within that study, the master had everything from a place to sleep to a bathroom. I couldn't imagine him leaving that room except for a significant reason. Beato. In that case, what?
そのよっぽどのことがあったって考えるのが自然だっちゅうことになるんか。
Isn't it natural to assume that one of those significant reasons came up?
まだそうと決まったわけではありません。
We still cannot be certain that's the case.
とにかく気まぐれな方ですから。現状をご存知なく、お一人で散歩をされている可能性もあります。
Anyway, he is a fickle person, so it's possible he went for a walk by himself, unaware of the current situation. I feel like he's very aware.
仮にそうだとしたら、一刻も早く現状をお知らせして、ご指示を仰がねばなりません。
If that is the case, then we must act in all haste to tell him what has happened and ask for instructions.
そうね。
Maybe he's the murderer, who knows? Maybe I can see him killing his own children. Umineko's OST is beautiful. So far, I've loved it. Also, hello, Ayo. Hi. Welcome in. Good morning. That's right.
考えたくはないけど、お父様の身に何かあったのかもしれないしね。
Although I don't want to think I don't want to think about it. It's possible something has happened to him, isn't it?
そのような不吉なことは考えたくもありません。
I'd rather not even consider such a sinister possibility. No one had seen Kenzo since the discovery of those 6 terrible corpses. On top of that, the phones were broken, the radio wouldn't reach anyone, and there was no way to contact the police. Apparently, the typhoon would leave tomorrow and a boat would come. But until then, no one could rely on anyone outside the island, nor could they escape the island. The tragedy had hit everyone so abruptly that they'd lost all their composure. Everyone felt a heavy silence. Everyone was impatient. Even though they needed to do something, they couldn't think of anything. So some of them held their heads in their arms while others got irritated. Right now, no one could explain what was occurring on this island, Rokenjima. Maybe Maria could. Maria could explain this. I trust her. She can solve the murders. After that, we ate the breakfast Kumasawa-san had made, which felt dry and tasteless. Of course, this was right after something like that had happened. No one felt particularly hungry. However, we understood logically that not eating would weaken our bodies. It would also be rude to Kumasawa-san who had made the breakfast. Kumasawa-san had taken some unusual Western vegetables once that Goda-san had probably ordered for his ultra-elaborate meals and cooked them in a Japanese style. What are Western vegetables? I don't know if there's like any difference in vegetables that grow in Japan compared to in Western countries. I never thought about that. I would just assume they have the same veggies. I don't know. What would be Western veggie? Broccoli. Since Satoko doesn't know... What was her problem again? She didn't know what color broccoli was? Something like... Maybe she hasn't seen broccoli before. Get her a deerstalker hat to put under the crown. What is a deerstalker hat? Okay, let me look that up. Deerstalker? Oh, like a detective hat? I see, I see. Japanese style meaning steamed. Yeah, I think so. That's probably the best way to explain it. A lot of vegetables and Mediterranean. Broccoli as well. Okay, okay. Tomato. Corn, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, okay. I see. I would assume that they also have those, or I just assumed that they have them in Japan as well, but I guess they have other stuff. I don't know. What do they have in Japan instead of those? I can't think of anything. I'm not... I don't know. Never been there. Sherlock Holmes worse. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It did look like a very Sherlock Holmesy kind of hat. I just associate it with any type of detective because they usually wear those. Swedes. Cabbage. Yeah, cabbages. I guess different types of cabbages. I'm familiar with sweet corn though because that's very American. I don't know. I can't think of anything else. I'm really bad with that. All I can think of are probably more Western veggies. That's okay. I'm overthinking this. I was just surprised. But thank you. I didn't even finish reading. Listen, that was not the direction I scrolled in. I think my mouse might be a little bit broken, my mouse wheel in particular. Which made them turn an unpleasant color. Esteban Goda-san had been planning to cook with those ingredients. Right then, I couldn't even imagine it. If I did think about it, I'd be reminded of the way Goda-san died, and a sour taste would fill the inside of my mouth. Everyone pretended to eat for the time being, but of course no one made much progress. Then we began pooling our knowledge of our current situation. First off, 6 people, which included Uncle Klaus, my dad, Kiria-san, Aunt Rosa, Goda-san, and Shannon-chan, had been found in the Rose Garden storehouse as brutally mutilated corpses. And yet we still couldn't contact the police since both the phones and the radio were unusable. So, until the typhoon passed, there was nothing we could do. Furthermore, grandfather, who we might have hoped would be able to show a little leadership in this kind of situation, had disappeared some time ago. Goda-san hadn't made breakfast, so grandfather's stomach must have been empty, and if he had just been taking a casual walk, we should have been able to hear him whining about how hungry he was by now. And despite that, he hadn't appeared. I feel like he'd be the type that even though he was at home, in his room, he wouldn't come down for the death of almost all of his children. This was 40 years ago, maybe not as easy to import. Yeah, that would explain why he was gonna make some elaborate cooking with it, probably just because it wasn't so easily available. It really is a cat. Where's my wet food, Golda? He went looking for some wild mice that he could eat because he didn't find anything in his room. No breakfast was brought to the man himself, so he went out and took matters into his own hands. That seems on brand, yeah. He was disappointed that it was only almost all of his kids. Eva should have died too. Natsuki almost got killed. I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that he, like, praised her and stuff like that. It is odd that she was possibly a target for the murder, and then he was like, oh, you know what, I actually think very highly of you. You wear the one-winged eagle on your heart. I wonder if it has anything to do with that. That is a weird coincidence that he would be, you know, speaking so nicely to her on the day that, well, on the night that she was failed to be killed. Catching birds in the garden. Yep. There was more than a small chance that he'd gotten caught up in this crime. Oh. According to my aunts, on their way back from Kinzo's study, they'd searched for him, calling out on every floor, but were unable to find him. Considering the timing of it all, it's only reasonable to assume that this disappearance had something to do with the crime. He figured Dad and the rest were probably killed in the dining hall and then painstakingly moved to the storehouse. Oh, this is from Batara's point of view. I was like, who's dad in this case? Kinzo? No, it's Rudolph. So maybe grandfather has already been killed and dragged to some strange place which we simply haven't discovered yet. No one actually said it out loud, but this theory seemed extremely convincing. Maybe they should check the storehouse again. But I doubt that they would kill people already. Whoever is doing the killing, I think they wouldn't kill him today. They would kill him tonight.
私たちはお屋敷の戸締まりを確認してきます。
We will go check that all of the windows and doors are
お父
locked.
様も念入りに探さなければなりません。
We must also conduct a thorough search for
子供
father.
たちはこの部屋を出ないように。
The children must remain in this room.
エヴァさんと秀吉さんは申し訳ありませんが、ここで子供たちと一緒にいてください。
Eva-san and Hideyoshi-san, I'm sorry, but please stay here with the
南
children.
條先生もお願いいたします。
I'd like you to, I'd like to ask you the same, Dr. Nanjo.
わかりました。
I
こ
understand.
こでお待ちしています。
I will wait here. I'm surprised Eva did not go and fly off the handle after being told to stay put with the children, but maybe she understands the situation is not for her to puff out her chest and be a proud Ushiromiya, yeah, whatever. She's the only sibling. I kind of had expected her to go. I should be taking the lead on this actually because I am the only the person left to, I don't know, take charge realistically in terms of family history. On Natsuki followed the servants, Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Kanon-kun out of the parlor. All that was left was Aunt Eva, Uncle Hideyoshi, Dr. Nanjo, and the 4 of us children, a total of 7 people.
みんなで仲良くテレビでも見て待ってよな。
Let's all stick together and maybe watch some television while we
し
wait.
かし、日曜日の午前中はろくな番組やっとらへんな。
Though I doubt we'll find anything good in the middle of the day on a Sunday. Hey, it's a typhoon. Maybe they'll do like a special program thing. It's a real bad look though. It would be. Stop hating on the girl boss. She's unlikable as of right now. I think she's likable as a bad character, but that's about it. I'm sorry. I suspect her of murder even. I'm a hater. Hello, Zazzle. Uncle Hideyoshi started acting cheerfully, trying to brighten up this gloomy atmosphere.
ろくな番組見る見る
Good show. Watch it, watch it. She seems so unbothered.
そうか。
Oh,
マリ
really?
アちゃんはテレビ見るか。
You want to watch TV,
じゃ
Maria-chan?
おじさんと一緒に見ような。
Then come and watch it with your uncle. Maria was the only one who joined in. Even though Maria had been told of her mother's death, she didn't show the slightest flicker in her emotions. Was it really normal for a 9-year-old girl like Maria to act so much like a very young child? Everyone else's mood failed to improve, and they each sank absent-mindedly into their sofas.
兄貴、
I feel like I'd be super creeped out by my 9-year-old cousin not caring about her mother's death. Hello, Orm. Hi. Hope you're doing good today. Eva sucks, but is a good character. Yeah, she's very well written, but she is an awful person in my eyes as of right now. Maybe that'll change. Who knows?
聞いてい
Aniki,
いか。
can I ask you something?
なんだい。
What is it?
さっき倉庫で
Just now in the
兄
storehouse.
貴はシャノンちゃんの指輪の話をしたよな。
You said something about Chanon-chan in the ring.
あれ送ったのは兄貴か。
Did you give that to her? Why would you bring that up now? Joji Aniki didn't answer, but he hung his head and closed both of his eyes. There could be no clearer response.
よせよバトラ
Quit it, Batara.
少しは察しろよ
Figure it out yourself.
だな。
You're right.
悪いことを聞いたぜ。
I shouldn't have asked.
そうさ、
That's right.
僕だよ。
It was me.
彼女に
Last night,
昨べ求婚したんだ。
I proposed to her.
その時、指輪を渡した。
That was when I gave her the ring.
明日になったら、
I told her that
そ
tomorrow
れを好きな指にはめて、
she should put it on whatever finger she wanted
返事としてくれって、
as her answer.
気ざったらしいことを言ってね。
I guess it was a pretty pretentious thing to say. And that ring had been on her ring finger of Shannon-chan's left hand.
私さ、数年前からシャドウに相談を受けてたぜ。
Oh no, I'm gonna get sad again. The track! It's so sad! Lydia seems to be emotionally stunted and or have some kind of mental thing. I mean, clearly something is up with her, with the way that she keeps changing her voice and become extremely creepy at times. Like, there's something that is up with her. Well, several years ago, Shannon came to me asking for
ジョー
advice
ジ兄さんのことでさ、
about you, Joji-ni-san.
なんて言ってたのかな。
I wonder what she could have said.
シャノンは嘘をつくのが下手だったからよ。
Shannon was always really bad at lying.
ジョージ兄さんのことを言ってるのはすぐにバレバレでさ、
It was obvious pretty quickly that you were the one she was talking about.
自分は
Oh, she's not gonna continue talking. Okay. She asked whether it'd be okay for her to get close to someone.
使用人の身分だけど親しくしてもいいのだろうかとか、
Even though she was only a servant.
男の人の好きそうなものは何かとか、
She asked about what kinds of things boys like.
どういう服を着たら喜ぶかとか、
What kind of clothes she should wear to make them happy.
そんなことをいろいろとさ、
Lots of stuff like that.
なんつうのか、そのまあ焼けたぜ。
Well, I guess you could say I felt envious hearing her say that.
それが婚約指輪を渡されて
When did she do that? I'm sorry. Several years ago. They've been dating for quite some time, haven't they? Or at least they've been interested in each other for quite some time. She must have been so young. I mean, she was only 16 when she died. That's so messed up. I still can't believe it. That's really weird. It's so sweet that they got along so well, I suppose. But it's a little weird in my mind. I still feel bad for both of them. She didn't deserve to die, and he didn't deserve to have his fiancé die. I don't know. Weird feelings to have. Joji is not beating the allegations. Unfortunately not. Fortunately not. There's no saving him. So then, she was given an engagement ring.
おしまいかよ。
And it all ended right there.
価値観は人それぞれだけどよ、
Different people value things differently.
男から求婚されるってのは
But being proposed to by a man,
人生の到達点なんだと思うんだよ。
well, it can be the high point of your life.
だからきっと
So I'm sure.
昨夜のシャノンは
Last night, I'm sure Shannon was happy.
心の底から
From the bottom of her heart.
いや生まれてから今までの中で一番幸せだったと思うぜ。
Happier than she's ever been since the day of her birth. Man, she did not deserve to die. This plot relies on a lot of old-timey norms. Yeah, it does. It is a little weird to read in the current, age, but it's fine, it's fine. We can accept that things were different back then, maybe. Is there no saving poor Joji? No. I feel really bad for him. I'm guessing, I don't know, this type of age gap was pretty okay back then. I don't know. Dating a 16-year-old when you're in your 20s is probably, or was probably not that big of a deal. Since no one is freaking out about this either, I think no one is like, oh my god, what do you mean you're dating a 16-year-old? I think everyone is just like, yeah, that's acceptable. Probably not the most common thing to happen, but acceptable? I don't know. Yeah, it's the 80s. In rich people circles, it's still okay even today. I mean, yeah, but nowadays it's seen as weird from the outside. Even I feel like some rich people would even say that's weird, but what do I know? I'm not rich. They knew each other for so long. That is also true. I mean, 7 years is not that big of a deal as you get older. It's only weird because, you know, she was clearly underage and he was of age, and I don't know, maybe they've been dating for some time while he was also underage. We don't really know when they started dating. They've known each other for a really long time, so it might have been okay. Joji Aniki sighed deeply without raising his head, or maybe tears had risen to his eyes. Oh no, I'm sorry.
ゲストハウスの当番だったらしいんだ。
It seems Shannon was on duty in the guest house last night.
シャノンは僕と一緒にゲストハウスに
Oh,
帰るの
don't
恥ずか
blame
しかった。
yourself now. But because she was too embarrassed to go back to the guest house with
お
me,
屋敷に行ってしまった。
she went over to the mansion. That's bad. When he was 17 and she was 10. Oh god, actually, never mind. I retract the previous statement. Okay, wait, never mind. That's actually super weird. Wait, that's actually... that is... It gets more problematic the more you think about it. Oh god, I hope they haven't been dating for that long. I hope they've only known each other for a long time, but even then that's... Oh no, yeah, okay, let's not think about it. It's fine, it's okay. I simply will not think about it.
シャノンの気持ちを察しろよ。
Think about how Shannon must have
婚
felt.
約指輪をもらえばどんなに予告されてたって普通は舞い上がっちまって頭は真っ白になっちまうぜ。
When you receive an engagement ring, then no matter how much warning you've been given beforehand, it's perfectly normal to get so excited that your mind goes
気
blank.
恥ずかしくて仕方なかったんだろうよ。
She must have been incredibly embarrassed.
それでシャノンは
And then Shannon
当番でないはずのお屋敷へ行き、
went to the mansion even though she hadn't been assigned there.
そこでゴーダさんの仕事を手伝い、
Had Gora-san with his work
事件に巻き込まれてしまった。
and got caught up in this
僕
crime.
が
If only I hadn't
あの日
given her that
あの
ring
場所で
on that
指
day
輪なんか渡さなければ、
in that place.
シャノンは
Shannon wouldn't have,
サヨは
Sayo wouldn't
事
have
件に巻き込まれなかったんだ。
been caught up in that crime. Man, that is rough. He's gonna blame himself for this for so long. Hashtag furniture. Ugh. That reminds me of my coworker who is 36 and his wife is 30, and my head just went immediately 18 and 12. Oh god, yeah, I think it's okay. Like, the older you get, like, 36 and 30 isn't bad, but if you think about it, when they were younger, it would have been bad, you know? It gets better the older they get. But it also depends on, like, when they got to know each other. In this case, it's not good, but, you know. We will just have to accept it as it is.
兄貴、それだけは違うぜ。
Aniki, that's the one place where you're
断
wrong.
じて違う。
It's definitely wrong.
だから、それ以上泣くんじゃね
So don't cry anymore. I do agree that he shouldn't blame himself for this. I mean, no one expected 6 people to get killed in a very brutal manner. I feel like it is safe to say that there is no blame to be put on him unless he killed all of them, which I doubt. It's only natural that he'd blame himself, but still. I don't think you should. You should blame yourself for other
バトラ
things.
君、
Hello, Miggles. Hi, hi, welcome in.
そっとしてあげなさい。
Batara-kun, let's leave him be. After Aunt Eva said that, I stopped talking to him. Misplaced words of comfort might actually do more harm than good. Jeshka sat down next to Aniki and put an arm around him. Maybe only Jeshka, who had known about Aniki and Shannon's love since the beginning, and who had even discussed that relationship with Shannon, could comfort Aniki now. I went over to Aunt Eva and sat down in the opposite sofa.
バトラ君は強いわね。
Batara-kun, you really are
もう
strong.
だいぶしっかりしているように見えるわよ。
It looks like you've kept a good hold on yourself.
まあほら愛の深さが傷の深さじゃないですか。
Well, look, the depth of the love becomes the depth of the wound, right?
俺は別にあんなクソ親父同士の方が知ったことじゃないし、
After all, it's not like how that old bastard died has anything to do with
キリ
me.
エさんは気の毒ですが、まあ本当の親ってわけじゃないですしね。
I feel bad about Kiria-san, but, well, she wasn't actually my parent. That's such a fucked up thing to say, actually. Like, they died in the most horrible way possible. Those could have been complete strangers, and I would have felt gutted. That would have been awful. I would not be able to just sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, that was my dad, but I didn't really love him that much anyway, and Kiria wasn't my parent, so whatever. I'm sure he's just putting on a brave face right now, but it's still a wild thing to say. Yeah, I think he's just, you know, trying to seem strong and seem like he's totally fine with the situation, but he's really not. Still, wild thing to say.
あら。
My.
という割にはさっきすっごく大泣きしてたわよ。
If that's so, you certainly were crying a lot back then.
まあ育ての親に対する恩は
Dude,
あの
it's
くらい泣けば
okay.
OK かと思いまして。
It's okay to show that you're hurt and to cry and to be vulnerable. You don't have to act tough. As soon as you let a crack in the facade, it's hard to stop. Gotta keep a brave face. That is... I can understand that. He's also trying to be brave for, like, the other people that are present, but I still think that they should be able to cry and be extremely sad and frustrated and scared over the situation. I understand why you would act like this, but also this is a very special situation. You should be able to, you know, let the tears flow. Eva's still poking anyway. I think she's also just starting to make she is wanting to make sure that he is okay. Well, I did think at least that much crying was due as gratitude for the parent who raised me.
そのあたりの切り替えの速さやドライなあたりは本当にルドルフ譲りね。
The speed of that changeover and that dry tone must have come from Rudolph.
あの子は昔から激しく喜んだり悲しんだり怒ったりしたけれど、
That kid would always get violently happy, sad, and
す
angry.
ぐにケロリと平静を取り戻したわ。
But he'd always regain his cool immediately afterwards.
そんなことはないっすよ。
It's nothing like that.
俺だってまだまだ心のショックから立ち直れちゃいません。
I haven't really been able to get over the shock yet.
ただ俺がみんなと違うのはそれによってどういう感情が生み出されるかってことだと思います。
I think the only difference between me and everyone else is the kinds of emotions that stir within me.
どういうこと？
What do you mean? I've been acting much calmer than Georgia, Aniki, and Jessica. That wasn't because my sadness was any less intense or because I'd already recovered. My sadness was simply getting replaced gradually with a different emotion. This soundtrack is cool. When do they cry?
悲しいっていうよりは
Rather than sad,
腹立たしいって気持ちなんすよ。
I'd say I'm more pissed
どこ
off.
のドイツがこんなことをしやがったのか。
What bastard did this and where?
横っ面に一発お見舞いしてやらないことには腹の虫が収まらねんです。
It's kind of been eating at me that I didn't get a chance to smack him upside the face. That was what I really wanted to do. I couldn't forgive myself if I just sat there, overwhelmed with sadness and hugging my
親
knees.
父たちが殺されて以降、この島は台風に包まれたままです。
Since the time Dad and the others were killed, this island has been covered by the typhoon.
つまり、これだけの上等を決めてくれやがった野郎は、まだこの島の中にいるってことです。
Which means the bastard responsible for all this is still somewhere on this island.
そういうことになるわね。
Yes, that would seem to be the case.
今も暗い森のどこかに身を潜めているのかしら。
I wonder if they're hiding somewhere in that dark forest even now. I was hoping that they would mention the forest because I really want them to go in there and see if they can find any traces of anyone having been there. Like houses or, I don't know, people. I do believe that there must be someone somewhere in that forest. Maybe that's where Kinzo is right now. Also, hello, Devil That Cries. Welcome in. I felt like I'd had a very similar conversation with Kiria-san the night before. That's right. After the letter from the person claiming to be Beatrice appeared at the dinner table last night, we talked about whether or not a 19th person actually exists.
エヴァおばさん、
Aunt
こ
Eva,
の殺人、
do you think this
ゆうべ
murder
のベアトリーチェの手紙と何か関連があるんでしょうかね。
has anything to do with the letter from Beatrice last night? Most certainly it does. Let's split up and explore the spooky forest. I mean, no one is bound to die until next night, right? So it's fine. No one will die, surely. The massive untamed forest on a remote island. If they stick together in a group, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. They have flashlights, I'm sure. Though, maybe not during a typhoon. Maybe that's a bad idea, especially if there's like thunder and whatnot. Maybe not. Maybe don't go into a forest. Hello, Skip. Hi, welcome in. Hope we're doing good.
ああ、例の
Ah, that one.
さあ、どうかしらね。
Well, I
あ
wonder.
の手紙はお父様が遺産問題に絡みたくて出した怪文書という見方で兄弟は一致したんだけれども、
Well, I wonder. All of the siblings agreed that the mysterious letter was sent to further complicate the problem of father's
そ
inheritance.
れと今朝の事件に関係があるかは今の段階では分かりかねるわね。
As to whether that and the case this morning are related, it's impossible to tell at this stage. I mean, I would say that it is connected. The letter talked about them having to solve Beatrice's epitaph, which talks about 6 sacrifices being made on the first twilight. So after 6 people have died, I feel like it's safe to say that it is related.
あの手紙、本当にベアトリーチェなんて魔女がマリアに渡したんすかね。
Was that letter really given to Maria by some witch called Beatrice?
まさか
How could it be?
全部お父様の仕組んだ茶番でしょ。
All of it was a farce devised by father, wasn't it?
シャノンちゃんあたりに肖像画のドレスを着させてマリアちゃんを騙したんでしょ。
Coincidence, I'm sure. For sure. Thank you for the 19 months, Kame. It says 21. I'm 21 or 19. Thank you. Oh, also thank you, Orm. Thank you. I appreciate the prime sub. Thank you. I couldn't believe no one immediately made that connection. Right. Like, it's so obvious that it is connected to the letter and therefore also the epitaph, because, like, how weird. The epitaph is connected to the inheritance all of a sudden, and right after they discuss that weird letter that talks about the vision of the inheritance, that's a little weird. No. It does sound insane, but it is very plausible. Amazing how it's been 19 months. It's been quite some time. Sometimes I forget that it's been over almost 2 years already. Never feels that way. Always just feels like barely a year. Hime Chanon-chan or someone wear the dress from the portrait and trick Maria-chan, right?
お父様らしい手の込みすぎたいたずらだと思うけど。
Isn't that just the kind of overly intricate prank father would pull?
ゆうべ、キリエさんとベアトリーチェは実在するんだろうかって話をしたんですけど、
Last night I talked with Kiria-san about whether Beatrice actually exists.
キリエさんも俺たち18人の中にベアトリーチェがいるだろうと言ってましたね。
And Kiria-san also said that Beatrice was probably one of the 18 of us.
そんなの当然じゃない。
Isn't that obvious?
この島には私たちしかいないのよ。
There's no one else on this island besides us, right?
なら私たちの中の誰かがベアトリーチェを語ったに決まってるじゃない。
Then there must be someone amongst us who's pretending to be Beatrice.
この島には俺たち以外はいない。
There's no one else but us on this island.
すか。
You think? How would they know that? Yes, there's maybe only this one very obvious mansion, but this island is surely bigger than only this area surrounding the mansion. If there's a huge forest, how can you say that there's no one living on this island? I don't get it. How can they be so sure? Time flies by fast if you're having fun. That is very true. I feel like having a project that I've been playing almost since the start of my streaming hobby, namely Higurashi, definitely made it feel like less time had passed because I don't want to believe that it took me 1.5 years. Well of you to say that on Maria's earshot. True. Yeah, they didn't check. They're too afraid to go into the forest as of right now. I would like for them to actually go there and make sure that there isn't people besides them living here. They own it, yes, but that doesn't mean that no one could have, you know, without them realizing, docked with a boat or, I don't know, taken a helicopter, landed, I don't know. They surely would have noticed, but maybe a boat they wouldn't have noticed in the middle of the night or whatever. It's not like they have super high-tech security stuff, so maybe someone could have docked near the island and, you know, come here or whatever. It's not unthinkable. Ooh, ooh.
当然でしょ。
Obviously, right?
私たち以外の誰がここにいるっていうの？
Are you saying there could be someone else here other than us?
この島には私たちしかいない。
No one is on this island except us.
18人しかいない。
There are only 18 people.
なら、ベアトリーチェを語るのも18人の中の誰かしかいないじゃない。
So the one pretending to be Beatrice has to be one of those 18. That's like one way to suspect your entire family and break up the family even more than it already is. Hideya-san denied the existence of a 19th person by spinning the chessboard around. Even though Aunt Eva hadn't constructed an argument that complicated, her opinion at least was the same. Except if that's the case, our situation starts to look very ugly. At the time of Beatrice's letter, the whole thing could be passed off as a prank set up by someone or another. However, if we're assuming there's no 19th person, we can't ignore this anymore. In other words,
19人目がいないなら、
if there is no 19th
親父た
person,
ちを殺した犯人も18人の中にいるってことになっちまうじゃないですか。
then the culprit who killed Dad and the others is also one of the 18, right?
つまり、今この屋敷にいる誰かが殺したってことになる。
So, in other words, the person who killed them is one of the people inside this very mansion right now. Maybe it's Kinzo, who isn't here right now. Aunt Eva smiled meaningfully. It looked like she thought this conclusion should have been obvious from the very beginning. I did see a purple vampire lady walking around the island. I don't know who you mean. 19th human on the island, you say? True, didn't... Oh god, it's been a long time, but... Didn't someone mention that it wasn't a human or whatever? Maria, even? I think she mentioned that it wasn't a human? I don't know. Kinzo killed them, you mean? I could see it. I could see it. But the theories run wild, Spooky. I mean, to be fair, the only person I can see this doing is this guy, though I don't think he would have a hand in this. I don't think he would... Oh, well... I think he could kill his own children, but would he interfere with the sacrifices? I wonder. I could see Eva killing her siblings. And I can see her doing it because she thinks this is what needs to be done. But then the key chooses the sacrifices. So maybe it wasn't either... Well, I don't think Eva knows how to get the key, if that's even a literal key or what that key is. I don't know. It's all about the key. What is the key? We don't know what the key is. I feel like if we find out what the key is, then we would find out who the culprit might be. I guess this first part is important then, because we would find out what the key is and how the sacrifices were chosen? I don't think she was being literal. I love this mystery so much. It is very interesting. I don't think I'm gonna be able to figure it out though. Maria said the culprit isn't human. I mean, that depends on whether or not you would consider witches to be humans or not, you know? That is a thing to be discussed, I suppose. Kinzo is a struggling aging man. Is he strong enough to subdue that many people? It depends on how they were killed in the first place, you know? Poison could be capable of killing that many people. They found blood in the dining hall. That doesn't mean that they were killed in the dining hall. It might just mean that they were... Their faces were plowed in the dining hall, which is fucked up. But they could have been poisoned, possibly. Or if the culprit isn't human, that would mean that the culprit is a witch. I don't think it would have been an animal unless Hanyu herself made her way onto the island as the goat and killed everyone. But it must be a witch then. In which case, you could consider Kinzo to be a witch. I think they use witch for any gender, so I think he would also be considered a witch and not a wizard. If he's studying, like, black magic, that it would make sense. I don't know. I don't see any of the others except for Kinzo to be capable of committing this type of murder, but I don't know if he would do this. Those are my thoughts as of right now. Which, that's not a lot to go off of, but you know, that's okay. Witches are connected to nature and spirits and stuff. Wizards read books. I guess so. Yeah, witches are... I think there's many definitions and stuff for it, but witches are also people that you make a contract with, right? Which is why he talked about a contract that he made with Beato, which would make her, by definition, by that very particular definition, a witch, just by forming a contract with him. Okay.
犯人は倉庫の中に6人の遺体を運び込んだわ。
The culprit carried the bodies of those 6 into the storehouse.
よく倉庫の中に運び込めたわよね。
But even that was an impressive feat, don't you think?
あのシャッターは常に閉められていて施錠されていたそうよ。
That shutter is always closed and locked, right? Also, I didn't even consider that if they weren't killed in the storehouse, that would mean that they would have to carry them there. I don't see Kinzo carrying 6 people now that I think about it. Maybe it wasn't him after all. It must have been a different witch then.
つまり倉庫内に運び込むにはシャッターの施錠を開ける必要があった。
In other words, in order to carry them into the storehouse, the culprit would need to unlock the shutter.
わかる？
Understand?
たまたまその日シャッターが開けっぱなしになってた可能性は？
Is it possible the shutter was left open by mistake that day?
使用人たちは常に閉めていると言ってたわ。
The servant said it's always kept
つ
locked.
まり鍵を使用人室から持ち出さなくては倉庫は絶対に開けられない。
In other words, unless the culprit took the keys from the servant room, there's no way they could have opened the storehouse.
鍵は使用人室の一つしかないんすかね？
I wonder if the key in the servant room was the only one. Allegedly so.
源氏さんはそうだと言ってるわ。
Genji-san said that was the
という
case.
ことは犯人はそのたった一つの倉庫の鍵のありかを知っていて持ち出した。
Which means the culprit knew where that single key was kept and took it.
さっきカノン君が使用人室に鍵を戻すところを見たわ。
Just now, I watched when Kanon-kun returned the key to the servant room.
壁にびっしりと鍵がかけられていて、とても素人にはどこに何がかけてあるのかわからなかった。
The wall was packed with keys, and I don't think a novice would know where or what those keys went to.
犯人はその中から倉庫の鍵を見事選び出したのよ。
The culprit was miraculously able to find the storehouse key among all of those. Oh, that kinda Makes it sound like it must have been one of the servants then, because they would be the most familiar with the keys. The warlock.
しかも札も何もついていない鍵を手にしてバラ庭園裏にある倉庫の鍵だと理解した。
Furthermore, even though the key didn't have a tag or anything sticking to it, they knew it was the key to the storehouse behind the rose
ついでに
garden.
言うと倉庫の場所すら理解していた。
And that means they also knew where the storehouse
もっ
was.
とはっきり断言するわ。
I'll say it even clearer.
犯人は使用人室の内部にも熟知している。
The culprit knew the inside of the servant room well. The argument was extremely plain and clear. If the bodies had been found thrown somewhere in the bushes of the rose garden, there wouldn't have been much to go on. However, if there was only one key to the storehouse in the servant room, and it was stored with such a large group of keys, a novice would not be able to tell them apart. This meant the culprit was someone who went into the servant room, and a lot was familiar. Wait, what? A lot and was familiar with the locations of the keys. I just thought about Maria's statement again. If it's not a human, and witches would be considered human, maybe it would have been furniture? Furniture isn't human. So that would mean, oh god, my brain is gonna explode. That only leaves 2 people, no? And they're both servants, coincidentally. Oh man. You could open a shutter or a door through magic, mayhaps. That is also true. Kanon would ice someone. I don't know. I don't think Kanon would have been able to kill Shannon, but maybe Shannon was killed by someone else, seeing as how she was left in a different place as well. Oh, what if... God, what if Shannon killed all of the others and then killed herself? That would have been crazy. I don't know, man. There's so many theories. There's so many ways that you can spin this. Furniture aren't considered human now to you, Spooky. I didn't know you were like that. I'm sorry. But Kanon kill Shannon, though. Shannon would kill everyone and kill herself. That's my theory. The servants in Beauty and the Beast for furniture, no one thought that was weird. I mean, yeah. Making it sound like furniture killed them sounds like some Final Destination roleplay happening here. I mean, it all depends on how literally the whole "we are furniture" thing is meant, right? Like, if that's just such a like, maybe it's just something that Kinzel says to put them in their place, so to say. Maybe they're not actually furniture, but if they are, you know. I don't know. Also, did I say hello, Krungo? Hello, Krungo. Okay, this is like the same thing that I used to do in Higurashi, where I would just rack my brain about things that might have happened, and then it turns out none of the things I thought of were true, so I'm just gonna try to keep the theories at bay, but it's kind of hard. The family members didn't normally go into the servant room, which meant that... Which means that one of the servants is the culprit.
悪いけど、それ以上はおばさんも言えないわよ。
I'm sorry, but even I can't tell you any more than that.
でも、一つだけ教えられることがあるわ。
However, I'll tell you one thing. It seems too easy to put the blame on one of the servants. What's that?
犯人たちは複数で、そして十分な武装をしていたと考えられるわ。
It's reasonable to think that the culprits are multiple in number and fairly well armed. You think they just have weapons lying around? Maybe Genji's gonna pull out a shotgun.
だってそうでしょ？
They'd have to be, wouldn't they?
食堂にいた兄さんたち4人を一度に襲って殺し、合計6人分の遺体をようようとバラ庭園の向こうの倉庫まで運んで、悪趣味な化粧と落書きを施している。
They had to assault the 4 in the dining hall and kill them, drag a total of 6 bodies all the way to the storehouse beyond the Rose Garden, and arrange for that disgusting makeup and the graffiti on the shutter.
これだけのことを単独犯で行えるはずもないでしょ。
There's no way that a single culprit could carry out all of that on their own, right? It made sense. It probably would have been possible for a single person with enough time, but it would take such an incredibly long time. It was probably safe to assume that a significant number of people were involved. Or one witch.
Phew.
This track is good. I like it. You could carry them with magic. It depends on how magic works in this world, but like, in my mind, you could lift up stuff with magic, and therefore, one singular witch could have done the trick too. Phew.
ってことは、エヴァおばさんは
So what you're saying
使用人の人たちがみんなグルだろって言ってんすか
is that maybe all of the servants were in cahoots.
静かになさいな。
Please keep it quiet, okay?
憶測で言っちゃ悪いわよ。
It wouldn't be right to voice mere speculation like this.
それにもし本当にそうだったらどうするつもり？
And if it really is true, what will you do next?
彼らは私たちを生かして返さないでしょうね。
They might not let us leave here alive.
しかも兄さんたち4人をやすやすと殺した相手なのよ。
This is an opponent who had no trouble killing Nissan and 3 others.
今この部屋に残っていてまともに戦えそうな人間はうちの家族の3人にせいぜいバトラ君で4人ってところ。
Right now, the only ones I can count on to fight with me are the 3 in my family and maybe you, which comes to a total of 4 people, right?
状況は昨晩と何も変わらない。
We're no better off than they were last night. Me and the 3 in my family. What now? Oh. 3? In her family? Who? Her husband? Her her son and Kinzo? Who does she mean? And Batara? What about Natsuhi and Jessica? They could also fight. They could kill people. As long as you use the right wind circles, the witch could definitely float those bodies around. True. We've all seen Eva's high kick. She could take any witch. She could kill everyone. I haven't seen her high kicks, but Joji, Hideyoshi, and yeah, I think she means herself Joji and Hideyoshi. And then Batora. Oh, she counted to herself? No. The one to fight with me are the 3 in my family. Did she count herself in the 3 in her family? That's so weird to say it like that, but I guess it could make sense. So yeah, she doesn't trust these 2 to be able to fight with them, and okay, Nanjo I can see not fighting anyone, but these 2 could help. That would make 6. In the intro of the game, when she almost kicked Rudolph in the... yeah, I almost forgot about that. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. I think she considers Natsuki and Jessica as possible culprits. That would be crazy. Why would she trust Natsuki? She's a borrowed womb. No! Don't say that! But you're right. She wouldn't trust them. That's crazy. Hello, Becha. Welcome in. Hope you're doing good today. I bet Nanja could throw down. Sure he could. We're no better off than they were last night.
つまり犯人にとって残る私たちを皆殺しにするなんて簡単なことなのよ。
In short, it'd be easy for the culprits to massacre the rest of us. I'd been playing detective with Aunt Eva, trying to expose the person who had killed Dad and the rest before the police did. If only I could cleverly penetrate the culprit's identity and stick the proof in their face. I'd been so sure that, just like in one of those detective movies, the culprit would then give up and surrender. However, the culprit would only surrender if there was no way for them to fight back. The culprits behind the crime on this island were far from helpless, and might even be able to massacre all of the remaining people here. And on top of that, this island was like a giant closed room, cut off from the outside world by the typhoon. So they had a full day until tomorrow to kill, scheme, and camouflage themselves. In short, it wasn't a safe atmosphere where we could get very far by playing detective. To the contrary, we were at a stage where we had to be scared stiff, since playing detective might displease the culprits and cause them to commit another mass murder.
あくまでも可能性の問題よ。
Well, it is just a possibility,
で
right?
も私は使用人の人たちをまだ信用できないわね。
But I can't bring myself to trust the servants yet.
それに私は使用人だけを疑ってるわけじゃないわ。
And that doesn't mean I only suspect
さら
them.
に黒幕がいるかもしれないと思ってるわよ。
But do you think there might be some mastermind behind all this? Oh, I guess she's implying that the person who could direct servants to kill other people would be someone in a somewhat leadership position. So Natsuhi, which is why she didn't include them, possibly. And Kinzo. Why she didn't also include him, I suppose. I'm also doing good, thank you.
黒幕？
Mastermind.
どうしてですか？
Why do you say that?
勘よ。
It's just a feeling.
使用人は書いて字のごとし。
Think about what the word servant literally
誰
means.
かに使用されて手足となる存在よ。
It means someone who serves as someone else's arms and legs, right? Okay, but if, okay, let's think about it again. My brain is drifting off. If Beato is considered the master during the night, and the killings happened during the night, then isn't it possible that she herself has servants that could do killing? You know? It would make sense. We would still have the possibility of witches not to be considered humans, since they have magic abilities. And if she is a master, she would also have her own servants, in which case she could order them to kill people. I feel like they're leading us down the wrong path by assuming that we would think that these... These are the only servants, when that might not necessarily be true if you consider there being two masters, you know? I'm thinking outside the box. This might be super stupid. This might be a super dumb theory, but it is possible. They keep repeating the fact that there's a master during the day and one during the night, so it's not impossible. Witches are supposed to have familiars, right? And they could be considered servants. She has her own furniture, maybe. This is really fun to think about, but it's also, there's so many possibilities. Okay, let's
殺
finish
され
reading
た
her
のは後
sentence.
宮家の親族ばか
It was a bunch of Ushiromiya family members who got
り。
killed.
ならその結果で利害が発生する人間が関わるのは当然。
So naturally, there must be someone involved who stands to gain from that result. There's gonna be an ad break in a couple of seconds, but I want to look at the witch's letter. Blah, blah, blah. I've served him for many years in accordance with our contract. That makes it seem like she's also his servant. Well, she's an alchemist, I suppose. Well, she wanted the gold to be returned to her, so she would also stand to gain from this, and she would also be revived if all of this happens. So, you know, Beato also stands to gain something from making all of this come true? Yeah? Maybe. This is a big stretch. But, you know, I want to not completely dismiss what she's saying. Oh yeah, the ad break started. Okay, I'm gonna take a 3-minute break. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. It's fun to see Spooky come up with theories. Thank you. I'm glad that you like it. I do feel bad, actually, for talking so much in between and like coming up with theories, and commenting so much on stuff instead of making progress with the story, but it's also kind of fun. It's kind of hard to not do it for some reason. Also, thank you for the welcome back. Welcome back to you guys too. Also, thank you for the hydrate. Part of the fun. Don't feel bad. This is exciting. Half the fun. Okay, it's very fun for me. It's very, very fun for me to like rack my brain about what is happening and like try and see if anything turns out to be true. So I'm glad that it is enjoyable to listen to at least. We can click through the story on our own. That is also true. I think most people watching this have probably already played this VN, so I guess it is fun to just hear someone rant about theories. Playing these on launch, we used to write so many crazy theories on forums. It's very fun coming back to this. Oh man, that does sound very fun. I think I would have had a great time doing that too, though I don't really know. When did this game come out? I don't even know if I would have been capable of writing anything on forums at that point. Maybe I could have, but it wouldn't have been very easy to understand in regards to how well I would have been able to formulate texts on the internet at that age. I adjusted the audio. Okay. This was also plain and clear. The Ushiromiya family had been right in the middle of discussions about how to distribute the inheritance when grandfather died. If this case followed the standard form of any classic mystery novel, the crime was definitely caused by someone with ties to the Ushiromiya family and who was involved in the inheritance problem. Aunt Eva had probably read a few books in that genre herself. Her argument may have had a few blind assumptions in it, but it was a standard conclusion that anyone might have reached. I think most people would end up suspecting the servants, even if they used different reasoning to get there. Especially the story about the key to the shutter. That made it very easy to suspect that one of the servants was involved. 2007s to 2010s. I feel like I could have... I could have been able to say a few things in English. Maybe. I don't think I would have been able to read this, actually. 10 years later to be officially translated and released. 10 years later, I would have been able to read it then. And I would have been able to have discussions. That seems doable. But I feel like at that point, people already have discussed this on whatnot, pages and forums. So, yeah. There's probably like fan translations and stuff that people were able to access before. Like the witch hunt patch. Yeah. I probably started a little bit sooner, but I would have been able to join in a couple of years earlier. And that's why
なぜか気に入らねんすよね。
I don't like it.
気に入らないって
What do you mean you don't
何の話？
like it? It's too easy.
あ、いえいえ、こっちの話っす。
No, I'm just talking to myself. I tried to dodge her question by joking, but I couldn't erase the sense of unease welling up inside me. After all, her conclusion was such an easy one to reach. A conclusion that anyone could reach. And I just couldn't be satisfied with that. He feels the exact way that I feel. It's too easy. Ryukishi never reveals the actual plot. We learned that from Higurashi, where he would create these red herrings for you to chase, and you'd be like, oh, for sure, it's this and that, and then he just turns it around on you completely, and you feel really stupid for falling for his tricks. And it's like, yeah, this conclusion makes sense when you look at it, but in actuality, that cannot be what is actually happening. Oh yeah, I think the Witch Hunt translation is the official one that I'm playing right now. And the Umineko project one is the other one that people really like. what if this time it isn't a red herring? That is what I'm thinking. It could be very fun to have Ryukishi actually reveal what happened, but there's like a little twist in regards to this, right? Like, yeah, you would think, oh, it's Kinzo's servants and stuff like that, but what if the theory that she's putting up isn't wrong, but you're purposefully made to go down the wrong path? What if it is, like I said, Beato's servants, right? It would still mean that, you know, the solution was kind of revealed in the beginning, but if you thought about it more, there could be a little twist to it. I don't know, that's my current theory, that it is just Beato's servants or something like that. Metagaming. Rikishi's really good at making the reader make false assumptions. Yep, for sure. If I tried spinning the chessboard around like I learned from Kiria-san, this was exactly why a servant couldn't possibly be the culprit. If the servants really were the culprits, they wouldn't hide the bodies in a place connected to themselves. Why on earth would they use the rose garden shed if they were the ones in charge of the key that could unlock it? That is also very true. The police would probably immediately pursue whoever had been in control of the key. It was even possible that some other facts might come to light as a result. The more we think of the servants as the culprits, the less reason they had to carry the bodies into the storehouse. But what if they knew we'd think that and put the corpses in the storehouse for that very reason? Oh god. No, that's completely impossible. When the police come and inspect the scene of the crime, they'll probably be able to uncover many things. No matter how carefully the culprits carried out that murder, some traces will definitely be found. In other words, they had everything to lose and nothing to gain. If you think about it this way and look at this murder game from the culprit's side, it's hard to imagine why they'd want to call attention to the corpses. Once the corpses were found, it could result in someone sending a report to the police, or it might make the remaining people more cautious, or it might make the survivors start to search for the culprit. None of these things would make life any easier for the culprit. One other reason why I think it might be Beato is because the way that they were killed is very extravagant, and they were hidden in a place that was very clearly marked. It had like a witch's circle on it and everything, which already makes you think of witches to begin with. And, you know, we were told that she likes to play pranks on people, so I feel like this would be a very fucked up prank to play, but if she revives all of them at the end, like the epitaph mentions, then, you know, it could be a fucked up little prank that she plays on people and like, hee hee hee, look, I killed your entire family and then I revived them. Isn't that fun? I don't know. If it was a servant, they just kill all the non-servants and be done with it. True and real. Or they're waiting for the right moment to kill the rest. Get ready to hear the expression spin the chessboard around a lot. I kind of like it. I like it. We're spinning it forever and ever. Yeah. She's just silly. She could do no wrong. I wonder about that. I don't really know anything about her, really, except for the fact that they said that they heard stories about her being like the master of the night and her being a little prankster. Slaughters your family. It's just a prank, bro. Yeah, don't worry about it. Haha, isn't that funny? Oh wow, I didn't even read the next line. It's just like the words of the main character's mother in a novel I read recently called Higurashi no Nakokoro ni. Wait, what? What words? Every story needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Eliminating that beginning is essential for the perfect crime. Right now, we don't know where grandfather is. We don't know if he's already become a victim or if he's one of the culprits. But this state of confusion must be beneficial to the killer. I guess they did mention this. I've never heard of it. What is this Higurashi they keep talking about? Hello, Mysterious Emblem. Hi, hi. Keiichi's mom. It's at— oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, where he asks her what the perfect crime would be. Right? That was that? Oh my god. It's been so long. That's so dumb. The corporate has absolutely nothing to gain by showing us the bodies in such an obvious way and making us all realize there's been a murder. In fact, this is the perfect place to spin the chessboard around. In other words, showing us the corpses in such a flashy way must be the culprit's goal in and of itself. So at the very least, to the culprit, the appearance of 6 corpses there meant more than the deaths themselves. In other words, the culprit wanted this murder on display. To whom? To us. This is a message. To you? I don't know. Maybe it's not to them. Maybe it's to Beto. You know, they're sacrifices to the witch, no? Oh, maybe not to the witch. I don't know who this is for anymore. Shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. I don't know. I don't know. Is this for the witch? Or who is this? He was thinking of killing Tepe. I remember you saying, no, this can't be real. There's no way he's going to ask his mom. And yet he did. It's kind of funny how he references Higurashi here. I expected nothing less of Ryukishi, really. Hello, Ranked Hyperion. Welcome in. The culprit's trying to shove something in our faces. I don't know what it is, and at this point in time, this vulgar mass murder isn't making me feel anything except a malice directed towards all of us. Malice towards all of us. Is it? I don't know. I feel like it's just a sacrifice for Beato, no? Or for someone. And therefore, it's not for you. It's for whoever the sacrifice is for, no? Each one of the survivors has some kind of connection to one of the 6 victims. Uncle Klaas's death brought Jeshka the grief of losing a family member. The deaths of Dad and Kiryu-san brought me sorrow, while Aunt Rosa's death brought Maria sorrow. Goda-san's death probably shocked his fellow servants, and Chanon-chan's death brought grief both to Joji Aniki, who had proposed to her, and Kanon-kun, who had loved her like an older sister. I like how Goda just has no one to really care for him. They're just shocked about his death, but no one really grieves him. That's so sad. Everyone now on this island has received an equal amount of sadness. Aunt Eva was sure that the servants were in cahoots. But then, how could you explain the deaths of Goda-san and Chanon-chan? At any rate, by this argument, the grief caused by the 6 deaths hit everyone but Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi. Oh god, this is where they start to tear them apart! Even Aunt Eva, who had directed suspicion at the servants and acted as though she herself was beyond suspicion, could not be ruled out as a suspect. In the first place, she was able to argue that the servants were suspicious by focusing on the shutter's key. But if you look at it from a perspective of motive and who would gain, Aunt Eva's name rises to the top of the list. That is very true, but also too obvious. Oh.
バトラ君が何を考えてるか
Different
おばさん
soundtrack.
わかるわよ
I know what you're thinking, Batora-kun.
What?
Oh?
嫌だな
Oh god, this is gonna be so weird. Suspecting your own family of murdering 6 other people. And the scene cuts back to smug Eva. Yep. Of course, she knows no other expression. Huh? Oh
内
no.
緒にしててくださいよ
Please don't tell anybody.
あんなことやこんなことで頭をいっぱいにしてたなんて
About how my head's so full of obscene stuff.
私がこの殺人で一番得をする
I'm the one who's going to gain the most from these murders.
どうせ疑われるだろうから先に自己申告しておくわ
Since I'm going to be suspected anyway, I might as well get it out in the open. I tried to dodge the issue by joking around, but apparently it didn't work. Well, she's not dumb.
遺産は兄弟の数で分割する
The inheritance will be divided into as many parts as there are siblings.
でも今や4兄弟は私一人
But right now, I'm the only one of the 4 left.
後宮家の全財産は全て私のものになるの
All of the assets of the Ushiromiya family will become mine.
秀吉おじさんが聞いたら予算か言えばシャレにならんっていうところっすね
That impression was really good. If Uncle Hideyoshi heard you, he'd say, could you give it a rest? It's not funny. If us stirring the shit out of that pot, then pretending that there isn't anything on the floor, yup.
ごめんね。
I'm sorry.
どう取り繕ったってどうせ疑われるだろうからふざけただけよ。
I was just fooling around, since I'm going to be suspected anyway, no matter how much I try to smooth it over.
だからこの殺人は私の立場から見れば私を疑わせるためのものではないかと思ってるの。
That's why, from my point of view, this murder might have been designed to cast suspicion on me.
困ったことに昨べのアリバイは弱いわ。
Unfortunately, my alibi for last night is weak.
聞かせてもらってもいいですか？
Could you tell me a bit more
夕べのことを。
about last night? It's weak? Didn't they go to bed together? Or maybe they slept in separate rooms, so maybe she doesn't have a proper alibi. But they did leave.
バトラ君たちも知っている通り、兄弟が遺産をどう食いちぎり合うかという話し合いは深夜まで続いたわ。
As you know, the discussion between the siblings of how to slice up and eat the inheritance continued until late in the
で
night.
も何時まで続いたかは知らない。
But I don't know how late it
私
lasted.
と主人は朝が早かったからね。
My husband and I had woken up early that morning.
もう眠くて眠くて24時を過ぎたあたりで抜けさせてもらったの。
The way she said that was incredible. We were so sleepy, and a little past midnight, they let us go.
そしてゲストハウスに戻って休んだわ。
We then returned to the guest house and rested there. Oh, they returned to the guest house? I don't think they mentioned that before. I thought they slept in the mansion. Maybe that's why they... Oh, well. I was gonna say, maybe that's why they were spared, but then again... I don't know. I think they would have still only killed 6 people. Alibis of spouses are unreliable. That is also true.
それを秀吉おじさん以外の誰かに証明できるっすか？
Can anyone other than Uncle Hideyoshi prove that?
いやいや、別にエヴァおばさんを疑ってるわけじゃないっすよ。
No, wait, it's not like I suspect you or anything, okay? This is such a weird discussion to have and such a weird tone for this discussion to take.
あらどうだか。
Oh, are you sure about that?
証明になるかわからないけれど、ゲストハウスに戻ってきた時、源氏さんに出迎えを受けてタオルはいるかと聞かれたわ。
I don't know if it counts as proof, but when we returned to the guest house, we were greeted by Genji-san who asked if we needed a towel.
だから私たちがゲストハウスに戻ってきた時間は24時過ぎだと証明してくれると思うわよ。
I think that should be enough to prove we returned to the guest house a little after midnight.
もっとも私の仮説通り使用人たちもグルなのだとしたらこんなのアリバイにならないけどね。
Though, if my theory was correct, the servants would all be in cahoots, and that wouldn't actually make for much of an alibi.
確かにそうっすね。
Hey, you've got a point
って
there.
ことは、俺今真犯人と推理ごっこをしてるってことになるんすか？
Guess that means I'm playing detective with the real culprit right now, huh?
でも私の名誉のために言わせてもらうけど、遺産目当てだったならこんな変な殺人はしないわよ。
However, let me say this for my honor's sake. If I was after the inheritance, I'd never commit such a bizarre set of murders.
だって遺産相続権を喪失させるだけならどんな死に方だって構わない。
After all, if I just wanted to make them forfeit their rights to the inheritance, it wouldn't matter to me how they died.
むしろ事故死に見せかけた方がスマートでしょ。
It'd be much smarter of me to try and make their deaths look like accidents.
使用人たちを抱き込んで周到に計画していたならなおさらそうするでしょうよ。
Especially if you're assuming I laid out some careful plan that involved even the servants.
確かにそうっすね。
It's kind of hard to fabricate an accident in the middle of the night. Like, what were they all doing together, 6 people together, that could have caused them to die together? Like, what would that entail? When I read Umineko, I didn't remember Eva being so sultry. I kind of like it. I feel like it really fits her character.
営利で人を殺すなら、それは常に殺人に見せるべきではない。
Oh no, the chandelier! It killed 6 people! That's a huge ass chandelier. And oh, so weird that they were all sitting together. You've got a point there. If you're killing someone for personal gain, you definitely shouldn't make it look like a murder. It's also interesting the fact that they're missing evidence, namely the blood and the scratches on Natsuhi's door. No one really knows about it except for Genji and Natsuhi.
そういうことよ。
Exactly.
だからおばさんは今からとてもブルーな気持ちなわけ。
That's why I'm in such a blue mood. Did I even read what he said? I think so.
警察には黒幕扱いされて散々調べられるでしょうね。
The police will probably treat me like the mastermind and investigate all kinds of
や
things.
だやだ。
Not fun at all. Aunt Eva shrugged with a bitter smile. It was just as easy to suspect Aunt Eva as it was to suspect the servants. So if we spin the chessboard around, does that make it impossible for the culprit to be her, suspicious as she is? However, if that sort of argument always works, then motive can never help us in any way. No, that can't be right. Knowing the motive must give us powerful clues towards knowing the culprit. That's why murderers from all time periods disguise crimes in complicated ways, cleverly preventing their motives from being discovered. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Every time I spin the chessboard around, it keeps flipping from front to back and back to front. Are my thoughts bringing me closer to the truth? Or are they... Are they... What? When I read there were no voices, oh yeah, I guess you could have... It's kind of hard to imagine a sultry type of, like, voice coming from her. She doesn't really say anything that's, like, super sultry. I guess the my, and whatnot would give a hint as to what her personality would be like. Hitman chandelier. That's a crazy chandelier. Yeah, calling herself Oba-san in the third person. What does Oba stand for? Is it aunt? So they all went into the woods to look for Beto, the witch of the forest or whatever, and went missing. I mean, they wouldn't for the sake of the story, but that'd be interesting. If that, like, if I know that's not how they died, most likely, but it would be interesting if they gave that as like a little reason for them to have gone missing and have died. I don't know, say they fell off the cliff. But it would be interesting if they did actually go to the forest. Like, just thinking about it, maybe some of them tried to go there. But in the middle of the night, actually, during a typhoon, unlikely. Kinzo would do it, but the others probably not. Aunt older lady. Okay. Okay. Aunt Eva didn't want to talk any more than that, so I folded my arms and headed to the window to cool my head a little. As I looked over the parlor, I saw Joji, Aniki, and the others gathered, talking. It looked like they were talking about the magic circle that had been painted onto the shutter. As Uncle Hideyoshi thought back to that time, he started drawing the shape in the margins of Maria's notebook. I see, since Maria was the second only to grandfather in knowledge of the occult, she might understand what it meant. That'd be cool.
こんな感じだったと思うで。
I think it was probably something like that.
十字架をアレンジしたみたいなマークが書かれとったんや。
There was a mark that looked like a variation of a cross. I don't remember that, but I also don't really remember what it looked like anymore.
そしてこんな感じで外周の円を取り囲むように妙な文字がびっしり書き込まれていて、十字架の上下左右の辺とその四隅にも何か書かれていたんや。
And then surrounding the circle all around the perimeter were these closely packed strange letters on all 4 sides of the cross. And in the 4 corners, there was something written.
アルファベットとかそういうのとちゃうで。
It didn't look like the alphabet or something like that.
あれはよく言う古代文字とかいうやつや。
It was what they call ancient characters.
あと円周部の頂点に小さなマークがありましたな。
And around the top of the circumference, there was a small mark.
小さな丸を5つ 十字状に並べ、それぞれを直線で結んだようなマークでした。
5 small circles arranged in a plus sign and straight lines connecting them. They remember this in great detail. I don't really remember what it looked like. I just remember there being some lettering.
ああ、確かにそんなのも書いてあったで。
Ah, yeah, there definitely was something like that drawn there.
図形的には間違いなくこれや。
Yep, there's no mistaking the shape.
細かい文字はわからんが、配列はほぼ同じや。
I don't understand the thin characters, but the arrangement was nearly the same. Everyone was staring down at the shape, so I stared down at it too. Oh yeah, now I can see the cross. I thought they were triangles for some reason. I guess that's kind of similar. I feel like there's something missing though. They're very learned men. A bunch of circles with signs in them? Beato really is a witch then? I mean, this could have been drawn by anyone, really. I wonder whose blood this is, though. It's clearly blood, unless it's paint and it's just a prank, bro, but I think it's blood, probably, most likely. From what I'd heard, this had been painted on the shutter to the storehouse with some material that looked like blood. I see. This sure is unsettling.
こんなわけのわかんねえもんを描きたがるのはじいさまだけだろ。
Grandfather's probably the only one who'd want to draw something this weird.
まったく、どこに行っちまったんだ。
Seriously, where did he go?
とっ捕まえて意味を聞き出してやりたいぜ。
I want to grab him and ask what the hell this is supposed to mean. Yashika's voice contained impatience and anger. She hadn't gone so far as to say grandfather was the culprit, but she seemed sure that grandfather knew something about the culprit's background. I have a feeling he's not coming back. I have a feeling he's gonna stay missing. Or maybe he's gonna show up dead at some point during the story. Hey, anyone could draw this shape. It's not that hard. It's 2 circles and a cross. Maybe it's the blood of one of the 6 dead people in the shed. I feel like the blood would have to be special. And not just one of the random 6 people that died. Of course, if you were searching for a link connecting the Ushiromiya family to the occult, 10 out of 10 people would think of grandfather. Also, to a person who knew nothing of the occult, this strange mark would have no meaning, which meant that this might have been something addressed to grandfather. That's right, and the reason the crime was shown to the survivors was so they'd find this. In that case, where had grandfather, the essential recipient of this message, disappeared off to? Is it for grandfather, or is it for someone else?
こんな図形に何か心当たりはあるかい？
Does this shape ring any bells? Those are genuinely some nice circles. I mean, if you're used to drawing like magic circles, you'd get pretty good at it eventually. Maria looked at the shape with a serious face. Maybe she was enthusiastic because this was her area of expertise. However, her appearance was that of someone separated from the events at hand, as though this thing hadn't been drawn on the shutter closed around her mother's corpse.
僕の第一印象ではどこか外国の十字章に似たデザインだなって思ったかな。
My first impression was that the design resembled a German cross. I can see it.
ああ、確かにこんなデザインや。
It certainly does have that kind of
という
design.
ことはどこぞの国と何か関係があるんか？
Does that mean it has something to do with Germany?
その国の十字章はもともと聖地巡礼者を守るための騎士修道士たちの紋章だったそうですな。
I'm glad Georgie said it because I wasn't going to. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, now that he mentioned it, it does look like it. The German cross was originally a crest from a religious order of knights and was supposed to protect pilgrims traveling to sacred places.
つまりこの魔法陣には宗教的な意味があるってことかよ。
Yeah, isn't it? Let me look it up before I say something stupid, but isn't it? Is it the Kreuzzüge? Is that it? Is that what it's referring to? Yeah, it's the... Yeah, I think they're referring to Kreuzzüge, which is well, how would you translate that? I'm sure there's an English counterpart to that event. Is it the Crusades? Yeah, is that the word for it? Oh god, when did that happen? I don't know during what time period that was. Was that it? Is that what they're talking about? I think so, right? I only know the German word and I know the events very, very briefly. Teutonic Order. I'm not familiar with that. 11th century. Yeah, it's been a while. Is Beato German? Is she the witch Beatrix? I don't know. Oh, who's the witch Beatrix? Oh, but isn't she Italian? Isn't that the Italian way to say her name? Yeah, it's a long time ago. But yeah, now that they say it, it does look like that cross. So in other words, this magic circle might have some religious meaning.
ますますにちんぷんかんぷんだぜ。
This is starting to sound like gibberish. When I looked over at all of them, preparing to jump into the discussion, something shocked me. This is... Oh my god! This is so creepy! Oh my god! Talk about disturbing! I joke because I thought Beatrix was the closest to Beatrice. Oh my god, I'm sorry, Beatrice in the German language. Beatrix? I don't think that's something you would say in German. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Yeah, the fisheye lens makes this... Oh, hold on, let me... Oh, you can even see her little fangy! That's so moe! She's not creepy at all, guys. That's so cute! She's adorable! Oh, Lyrian. Hi. Hope you're doing good today. Yeah, she's just a girl with a hobby. She's just really into black magic. What can I say? The angle is too upsetting and the blank expression. I wonder, like, the little... Oh no, these are windows, right? Like, these are windows, and then these are also windows. This looked like a weird little shadow shape, but it's just... I don't know. This is still a window, I think. Maria was smiling, an eerie and incomprehensible expression on her face. It was almost as if she was making fun of everyone's ignorance. It was an expression I wouldn't have dreamed to find on Maria's face. She's creepy as all hell. Oh my god, it couldn't get any worse! As if it wasn't creepy. Oh my god, her fang, it got bigger. That is incredible. Oh my god. Oh, the eyebrows. That is so cool. She looks deranged, to say the least. The background adds to it too. This is such a cool CG. I love this. It's so unsettling. Bangier. What is this? Okay, now the shadow has taken on a different shape. Like, this is clearly, I would say, a woman with a hat of sorts. Beato doesn't wear a hat, right? She has a little bun at the top, no? I forgot what she looks like. Ugh. But yeah, this looks like a very Western style, like puffy sleeves outfit with a very elaborate fancy hat. And like this would be an updo of some sort. This looks like, yeah, just a very fancy Western woman. She's so happy. In the first one, we could see the windows reflected in her eyes. Now it looks like a person. True. I wonder if that means that the... Oh! Wait a second. Oh, that makes you think. Would windows be considered furniture? Not really. But Shannon was last checking the windows and if they were locked the last time that we saw her, which is interesting to think about. This might just be coincidence that, you know, the windows turned into a person. But yeah, that is very intriguing. Do any of the women wearing wear a hat? I don't think so. Kanan wears one, but it's nothing like that. Well, Shonan also wore one, but it also looks nothing like that. I don't know what her... this could also be an issue with the sprites now that I think about it. I don't know if this is what her hat looked like in the console art too. But this is very different. Like, I don't see Shannon wearing something like this. Yeah, Maria has a crown. Also, hello, a worry rock. Welcome in. I'm glad they kept the good art for portraits. It's so good. I love it. Okay, sorry. I'm thinking too much about the shape of her eyes, but it's clearly meant to be perceived. I'm thinking, but it's none of the people here. I'm pretty sure this must be someone else entirely. And she laughed. That eerie, jarring laugh. Something I didn't want to believe was possible, even though I was looking at it right in front of my eyes. Okay. That is terrifying. Oh my god. Oh my god, I had a chill run down my back. Oh my god, that is terrifying. I didn't think it could get any creepier than this. Holy shit, that is a good CG. Oh my god. That is incredible. That is so cool. A great time for the window breaking sound effect, yeah. Your hat doesn't look like the reflection in the console sprites. Okay, okay. That's good to know. This CG is awesome. This is so cool. You gotta kill this kid. What is wrong with her? Okay, let me just look at this. The smile is incredible. That is terrifying. The little... I'm just admiring this as like artwork. Like the bags under her eyes. The super realistic like veins on the eyes. That's horrifying. But like the little distortion on the art is incredible. I love it. This is so cool. God, the more I look at it, the more disturbing this gets. It's like fucking Jeff the Killer. Corpse Party level creepy. And the switch in soundtrack is incredible too. This is so cool. Maria mode. We need a spooky face like this. I don't know if we do. He's chill and doesn't bite. Just don't breathe around her. She's terrifying. I do not want to be near this kid. I didn't even listen to the laugh. I wish I could replay this because I was just so surprised by the CG. I want to listen to the laugh again. You people aren't even close. Can't you tell just by looking? That's actually such an adorable laugh. While everyone was busy being scared out of their wits, Maria kept on cackling happily by herself. After a while, that laugh was suddenly and abruptly cut off. But her expression still looked like it belonged to someone completely different from Maria. Oh god, the switch in her personality is fantastic. If you save and load, it goes back to the start of the page. Oh, it's too late now. But good tip. Good tip for the future. This is the 7th magic circle of the sun. The characters are written in Hebrew. Give it here. Sure. Maria stole the writing materials from the stunned Hideyoshi's hand. She then started drawing another magic circle with a rustle right next to the one Hideyoshi had drawn. Oh, that expression is awesome! I love that face! See? It looked sort of like this, right? Yes? And it was?
Maria, すごいな。
Maria, incredible.
さすが詳しいぜ。
You really do know a lot. Yoshika tried to smooth things over by praising Maria. Maybe she wanted to confirm that this was still the Maria we all knew so well. But Maria didn't answer her in any way in particular. Maria began swiftly writing unfamiliar characters in the corners of the shape. When Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo saw them, their eyes immediately began to open wide.
天地と左右に書かれているのは風化水道を司る天使たちの名。
Written on the top and bottom and left and right are the names of the angels who preside over wind, fire, earth, and water.
カサン、アレル、フォルラク、そしてタリアハド。
Oh my god, am I gonna have to read that? Oh no, I'm gonna butcher this. You can read it yourself. You have eyes. You can look at that. Yeah. You don't even know magic. Yeah, her voice becomes so obvious now. I feel like when she's just her usual ooh Maria, it's kind of hard to tell. I can try. Chasan. I can just say it like in a German way. Chazan, Are, Vorlak, Talia, Had.
そして斜め四方には4代の王たちの名。
And in the four corners are the names of the four great
アリエル、
kings.
セラフ、タルシス、ケルブ。
Ariel, Zerav, she's Cherub.
合ってる？
Is that what you saw? Even if they hadn't been able to correctly write what they'd seen, when they were once again shown something identical, it wasn't difficult for them to realize the two were the same. When Maria asked them whether it matched, Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo nodded over and over again.
間違いない。そうや。確かにこんな文字が書かれとった。
There's no mistake, that's it. I'm sure there were characters that looked like that.
なんでこんなん書けるんや。
How are you able to write something like that?
あと演習文に文字が書かれておりましたな。
There were also characters written around the circumference.
わかってるよ。
I know.
こうでしょ？
Like this, right? Maria quickly began to surround the circumference with more Hebrew writing.
旧約聖書の詩編第116編の16節と
Damn.
17節だよ。
It's from the Psalms of the Old Testament, the 16th and 17th verses of the 116th Psalm.
聖書くらい読んでなきゃ。
You must have at least read the Bible, right? No, I did not, in fact. And I doubt anyone else in this room has. She's incredible. I love this side of her. Acting as though knowing this was only common sense, Maria left. For a while, everyone, including me, was at a loss for words. A little later, Joji Aniki returned to his senses and slowly managed to speak.
すごいね。驚いたよ。
It's incredible. I'm surprised. She must be like somehow possessed by something or someone, right? It's such a sudden shift in oh god. Now I'm starting to think about the rose that went missing and stuff like that. And Maria knew very clearly where it was. She doesn't even talk in the ooh type of way, you know. She sometimes will speak about black magic, like when she gave the charm to Jessica, for example. And she still stayed in character, but now she's like so completely different. It must be like something more going on. I mean, duh, obviously. She's a little too different. I tried to read it once and fell asleep so fast. Real. I have? You have? I mean, that's impressive. I don't think I could. 16th verse. Truly, I am your servant, Lord. I serve you just as my mother did. You have freed me from my chains. Just as my mother did. Do you think... Oh, that's... I'm thinking. I don't know why, but reading that about just as my mother did, I saw it from the perspective of Maria for some reason. And it would be kind of funny if Rosa was somehow a witch and then Maria decided to become a witch for some reason. I don't know, it's unlikely, but it would be kind of funny to think about. 17th verse, I will sacrifice a thank offering to you and call on the name of the Lord. That is very cool. That actually kind of makes sense in the context. Cool. Thank you for looking it up. Or knowing it by heart, I don't know. This is how I used to talk about dinosaurs as a kid, I get it. Okay, alright. Time for you to read Umineko with a Bible by your side. Damn, I gotta buy a Bible now and like reference it as we go along, Umineko. That'd be cool, but I don't want to buy a Bible. Can someone like hand me their Bible? Does anyone have one? Can you just lend me one? I'm not gonna buy one. Hello, Klaus. Welcome in. Hope you're doing good today. This is how Spooky acts when she starts talking about 100 line. You fools! You know nothing of Eito Aotsuki! I gotta have an evil laugh to go along with it. Ha 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 ha. Evil laugh laugh. That's incredible. I'm surprised.
それで、この魔法陣にはどんな意味があるんだい?
So, what meaning does this magic circle have?
太陽の力を借りる魔法陣だよ。
It's a magic circle to borrow the power of the
黄
sun.
金で描き、護符にして身につけたる者はいかなる牢獄であろうとも、束縛から逃れ、自由を得られる力を授けられる。
He who wears it as a talisman drawn in gold shall be able to break free from the bonds of any prison and receive the power to gain freedom. Talisman drawn in gold. Could that be referring to the ring that Kinzo threw from the balcony? If we assume that it really was Beato who wrote the letter, could she be the one who broke free from the bonds of a prison? Because, like, it would make sense for her to, like, start killing people in order for her to get her stuff back, you know, the gold and whatever she gave to Kinzo. In order for her to be revived at the end? Something like that? It would make sense if she was, like, sealed away or something. We don't really know too much about what happened to her and what is up with her in general, so this is just speculation, but the talisman drawn in gold reminds me of the ring. Eito! Maybe at your local church. Do you think they would lend me one if I asked? I kind of doubt it, but I mean, I guess it couldn't hurt to try and ask. There's one not too far from here. I could ask.
束縛から逃れ
To break free from bonds.
自由を得ら
And
れ
gain
る
freedom.
意味深だぜ
Sounds deep.
この束縛という意味は何も肉体的なものだけを指さないと解釈されている。
The word bonds is not limited in its interpretation to some kind of physical object. So it could also mean like a contract then? Like she was talking about in the letter?
だから縛られて牢屋にいる人ばかりに意味があるわけじゃないよ。
Therefore, it does not only hold meaning for people locked up in an actual jail.
しがらみや逃れぬ運命など精神的な束縛からの解放を意味してるんだよ。
It can also refer to the release from mental bonds such as ties of obligation and inescapable fate. Inescapable fate, huh? This is... oh god. It's gonna be Higurashi all over again. I'm 99% sure you can just get a digital Bible for free. It is the Bible after all. That's actually a good point. I can see it being available for free in order to spread the religion or whatever. And also it's so big that it would just be available everywhere if you just look enough. That is a good point. I might look into it so that I have something to look. I mean, you can just Google the Psalms and everything and verses and find it that way, but it's kind of fun to have a Bible to flip through for the references. I really like this Jeshka expression. It's great. I like how her mouth is like slightly tilted downwards. It's great. Hello, Butt Crisp. Hi. Getting some real Bible vibes from this murder. So strange. When Maria gets into Chuni mode, we sit down and we listen. It's public domain. Yeah, there's different versions of it. Also, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it depends on what type of Bible you have. Maybe the verses would be different. Oh, I would also have to get... I just realized I can't go to my local church because it would be in German. My anime Bible. My Higurashi... not Higurashi, my Umineko Bible. Has anyone mentioned that Umineko is longer than the Bible? I did read that somewhere before. Time for a UK trip? I want to so bad. I want to so bad. Anyway, stop. My theory is becoming more and more real. The more I read her talking about this, the bonds, the talisman, it sounds like the contents of the letter, man. Ties of obligation and inescapable fate, you say. That's also pretty deep. Federica Berncastle about to drop down in here and talk about the inescapable fate that she has to suffer in this world, in this fragment as well. I wonder what happens if an author comes back from the dead. Does the work exit public domain? I don't think there's laws that exist for that yet. There's not much to see here. I think the UK looks nice. I don't know. I want to go there because for a very silly reason, namely that Professor Layton took place in the UK. Or is very UK inspired. I think it takes place in the UK. It takes place in London, doesn't it? I'm so silly. It'll be a pleasure to have you in the UK. I will plan it eventually. It is my inescapable fate to end up in the UK at some point in my life. Hope you get to go. Thank you. I hope so too. But I don't really understand. What does this have to do with those 6 bodies? Read the letter, old man. Far from being released, they were killed and stuffed in a storehouse, weren't they?
別にその6人のために魔法陣が描かれてるわけじゃないね。
You old fool! It's not like the magic circles were drawn for their sakes.
魔法陣のために6人はそこにいるんでしょう。
The 6 of them were there for the sake of the magic circle.
お気の毒だよ。
It is truly pitiable. I love how she just looks down on them. I'm gonna rewatch these VODs when you're in the answer arcs. Okay. VTuber convention here. I don't know. I'm not really interested in that type of stuff. Anime convention? Sign me up. VTuber convention. I'm not super interested. Yeah, I want to go, but I never really saved up for any type of trip, really. Also, I have pets, and it's kind of hard to get someone to come here since I live in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, the spread is great. What do you mean? What in the world do you mean when you say the 6 of them were there for the sake of the magic circle? Maria lifted up her pointer finger and waggled it as if she were making fun of us.
それは演習部に書いてるよ。
Oh, this sprite is awesome. That's written around the
読
circumference.
めないかな。
Can't you read it?
詩編第116編16節と17節。
Psalms chapter 116 verses 16 and 17.
読んであげるよ。
I'll read it for you.
主は私の枷を解かれました。
The Lord has freed me from my
私
chains.
はあなたに感謝の生贄を捧げ、主の皆を呼ぶでしょう。
I will offer to you the sacrifice of thanksgiving and will call on the name of the Lord. See?
ねって
See, you say.
何を言ってるのかさっぱりだぜ。
I've got no idea what you're talking about. you're saying
てのか。
they're human sacrifices? If what Maria had just read aloud was a vital part of the magic circle, then it was saying that sacrifices had to be offered in order for this magic circle to be effective. So, human sacrifices had been offered inside the storehouse, where the magic circle had been drawn. A heartbeat later, everyone else seemed to reach the same conclusion. Some people were shocked and others spat out that this was insane as they punched their knees. This was starting to get incredibly disturbing, and we couldn't accept it or understand it. I don't care what kind of magic circles or curses other people believe in. I won't pick a fight with them. But did they really kill Dad and the rest as sacrifices for crap like that? I just couldn't stand that feeling. Compared to this, I preferred it when we were still disgusted by that theory about the fight over the inheritance. As I started getting pissed off with a feeling between anger and sadness, I broke from the circle everyone was in and returned once again to the window. Something had gone insane since yesterday. There was that letter from the witch Beatrice that Maria had read aloud at last night's dinner. Ever since that point, it feels like this whole mansion and this whole island have been getting more and more firmly locked inside some kind of bizarre world. That's right. Now that I think about it, sorry, it's kind of what they said in Higurashi too, like it wasn't the same world that they thought they were in anymore. Ryukishi is using the same words for the same type of situation. You know, whenever someone was killed there, they were like, oh my god, it doesn't feel like the same world that we were in yesterday and stuff like that. But it never ended up being a different type of world. Or fragment, whatever you want to say. She keeps being bullied. This is her one time to feel superior. Honestly, she deserves to pop off like this. I just hope that no one gets super mad at her for making fun of their stupidness. Their naivete. And I don't know, hurts her or whatever. That's right. When I think back on it, that letter was an invitation from the witch. The ruler of the nighttime island had invited us inhabitants of the day into another world. The phone and the radio had been interrupted and the island was shut off by the typhoon. So you really could call this place another world cut off from the real one by now. Yeah, as this island is now, it's perfectly normal for a witch to send us letters and for human sacrifices to be offered up for the sake of magic circles. So, what'll happen next? Will some weird people wearing goat masks start doing the Bon Festival dance or something? It's hopeless, I don't get it. The inside of my head's all screwed up and I don't even know what to think. Anger, sadness, the opposing emotions all swirled up together and they started to suck me in. Unable to resist, I could do nothing but cover my eyes with my hands and trust to my mind and body as I started getting sucked in. I love the soundtrack, by the way. Didn't this also play when Maria read the letter? Very fitting. Another Batara catchphrase, it's hopeless, it's hopeless. Yeah, he says that every now and then. I think he said that before. I want him to voice it out. I want to know what it sounds like in Japanese. Kushi Aroma gets a lot of play this episode. It's a great soundtrack, honestly. Alright. We're gonna have an ad break in 2 minutes. There's no point in reading more before the ads start, so we'll play it now, and I'll be back in 3 minutes, and then we'll continue the hopeless discussion. I want to see more of Maria being like this. I hope I come back to more of it. Alright. See you in 3. I'm back. I made it in time. Wow. I'm really happy that my dog is right behind me because she can listen to the life-changing text of Ryukishi. Thank you. Welcome back to you too. I'm running out of water. Maybe I should have refilled my water. It's too late. She's very cute. She left the room when I left it, and then I called her back and she laid down on the little beanbag chair that's behind me. She enjoys that spot for some reason. It's very cute. Dog getting cultured, exactly. She's also getting parts of the Bible. We're getting everything here, full program. Thank you. Welcome back to you too. Let me drink a few sips, actually. I ate a cookie and now my mouth is full of cookie bits. Have to get it all down. Audio adjusted. Okay. As I started losing heart, I began to recall a memory from when I was small. It was from when I was very young. I had unfortunately seen a scary occult movie on TV, and for a while I hadn't ever been able to go to the bathroom by myself. That old bastard gave an exaggerated laugh and said this.
なあ、バトラ。
Oh, we get to hear his voice again. It's great.
どうして悪魔だのオカルトだのってのをわざわざこうして映画にすると思う？
Hey, Batara, why do you think they go to all the trouble and make movies like this about demons and the occult and such?
ねえからだよ。
It's because they don't
そんな
exist.
ねえからわざわざ見たくて作るんだよ。
Something that ridiculous can't be found anywhere on the planet.
だから俺はオカルト映画なんてちゃんちゃらおかしくて笑っちまうってんだ。
Because they don't exist, people want to see them and go to a lot of effort making them. That's why those occult movies just make me laugh.
俺に言わせりゃ悪魔やら妖怪やらより今年度の収支報告や機嫌を悪くした女房の方が1億倍も怖えってもんだぜ。
If I were forced to choose, I'd say rather than demons and monsters. This year's earnings call and angry wives are 100 million times scarier.
さらに言うぜ。俺に言わせりゃな。
I don't understand the sentence. This year's earnings call? Oh, that's the whole, okay, that's the thing. This year's earnings call and angry wives. I understand, I think. I'll go further, okay?
怖がるってのは
From my point of
心
view,
と生活にゆとりのある連中の娯楽的感情なのさ。
getting scared is recreational emotion. Recreational emotion, something for people who've got room to relax both in their hearts and their
暇で
lifestyles.
暇でしょうがないから。連中は変わった感情で心を遊ばせたくて悪魔だのオカルトだのって文化を作り出したんだよ。
They had so much free time they didn't know what to do with it, so in order to entertain their mind with unusual emotions, people started creating a culture with the demons and the occult and stuff. What if there is 2 different worlds, and what if they didn't die, hypothetically speaking? What if they were taken to the world of witches and they're all fine? What if they're all just okay? They're all now training to be witches. Poor Beato. Maybe they got turned into furniture. He's saying he's more afraid of business and his wife than demons murdering 6 of his family. Real? Yay! It would be a funny prank. Haha, we planted these fake corpses and made scary little haha witch magic circles. But in reality, they're all just here in my little cabin in the woods. We're all just drinking tea. Those were replica bodies. None of them are actually dead. It'd actually be great. It would be a very unfunny prank, but it would be great. Seriously, why have I been acting so damn thick-headed? I was totally taken in. Don't try to mess with me. This is the human world. Cool soundtrack. I don't give a damn about witches, demons, magic circles, and sacrifices. The human who killed Dad and everyone else is still on this island. That's all there is to it, right? The next person who started speaking to my heart was Kiria-san.
チェスや将棋ってね、
You see, in both chess and shogi,
終盤の終盤、詰めの最後の段階に入れば入るほど最善手は限られてくるのよ。
when you reach the very, very last stage of the game and get closer and closer to cornering your opponents, the number of optimal moves you could possibly make gets smaller and smaller.
だから自分が追い詰めている、
Therefore, if you're backing someone against the
あ
wall,
るいは追い詰められているというその時、
or if someone's doing the same to you,
両者の手は限りなく読みやすくなるのよ。
both players' moves become infinitely easier to read.
つまり完全に追い詰められて打つ手なしって思ったその時こそ最も読みやすい瞬間なのよ。
In other words, when you're completely cornered and you think you have no moves left, that is the moment when it's easiest to read your opponent.
でも守勢に立った人間はどうしても考えが固くなって相手の手を読むことにまで考えが至らない。
However, when a person is forced into a defensive position, they can't help but lose their ability to think clearly, so they aren't able to get their minds around their opponent's moves.
そういう時はね、
That's when you
チェス盤をひっくり返すの。
spin the chessboard around. Let's go! This is such a banger already. It's kind of nice. Are we gonna turn the shogi board around? You can turn any board around that you want. With all my strength, I slapped my face with both hands. Now my eyes were truly open. When you don't understand anything and you're completely cornered, just like I am now, isn't that the perfect time to spin the chessboard around? While on the defensive, we can't even guess at the culprit's scheme. If we spin it around and look at it that way, just what might we see? First off, at the time the culprit committed the murders, they knew the island was being cut off by the typhoon. Therefore, they should have understood that even if they carried out the murders, they wouldn't be able to get away early the next morning. In short, the culprit had begun without securing a way to escape. Furthermore, that bastard tossed the corpses in the storehouse, then was even kind enough to say, "Here they are," with that weird bit of graffiti. In other words, since we'd probably find the corpses sooner or later, they wanted to show them to us. If we'd all been dim and hadn't noticed the storage shed, the culprit's goal would not have been achieved, would it? I guess so. But maybe it wasn't for them to find. I want to think that Batora is actually, unlike Keiji, not an unreliable narrator. I want to think that he actually is of sound mind and actually explains things in a manner they actually are, you know? First time Kitty was talking about it, she did say it applied to either. They're similar kinds of games, yeah. If you think about it this way, that bastard of a culprit. Since this morning, they must have been watching our every move with bated breath. After all, if we hadn't been so kind as to discover what was on the storehouse, all of that hard work and preparation they did last night would have just gone poof. What did the culprit want to make us feel by showing us the corpses in the storehouse? All 6 of the bodies had their faces noticeably destroyed. Was it a grudge? A warning? The defacement of the bodies had occurred after death, so it hadn't been the means by which the culprit had killed. It didn't mean anything to those who had been killed. It did have meaning to those who found the bodies. The culprit wanted to make it appear that they had been killed so brutally. Ha! After thinking this way, I really want to tell that bastard to stop taking me so lightly. We just dance to that tune. If you're told, please be scared, you can't just say, really? Sure thing. When someone tells the great Ushiromiya Batora, the entrance is right there, I'm the kind of guy who'll start wanting to sneak in through the window. The next thing that had me concerned was that so-called magic circle on the shutter. As Maria, who had shown that her knowledge of the occult rivaled grandfathers, had recognized that magic circle was genuine. They must have drawn that thing in pitch black darkness, taking a lot of time and holding an umbrella in one hand. Isn't that amount of hard work and perfectionism impressive? That purpose would have been worth all of that effort. If we were looking for a fan of the occult in this mansion, most likely, all of us would naturally suspect Grandfather. Did they want to make us think Grandfather was involved? But if that's all they wanted, they could have just drawn any old scribble that looked like a magic circle. It wasn't like any of us amateurs would be able to tell the difference between genuine and fake. What if it was Maria who killed everyone? Could be, could be. Maybe through the power of Beato, who possessed Maria, she was able to kill 6 people easily with magic. Good for Maria. Maybe the mom was the first one to go as revenge. However, this magic circle was genuine, and furthermore, it had been written in Hebrew. But this magic circle had a message that could only be understood by someone with knowledge of the occult. A message is a form of communication. By sending it, they were hoping for a reaction. A reaction? For some reason, we couldn't find Grandfather now. I don't know how Grandfather might have spotted the magic circle on the shutter, but did he choose to hide himself in reaction to that? No, was it a trap to make us suspect that Grandfather had participated? We could read it either way. Damn, that's annoying. What kind of reaction was the culprit hoping for to get out of us by putting on this occult show? I like how Adobe Acrobat just has a pop-up go over my game window. Thank you for absolutely nothing. Somehow that felt like the culprit's weak point. Letter from Beatrice that Maria had read aloud during last night's dinner sprang back into my mind. This was a freak who'd asked us to enjoy a battle of wits. Isn't that interesting? This is a battle of wits between us and the witch. Will we be sucked up by her occult game first? Or will we pull off her fake skin first? There's a whole day until the typhoon passes. Why not enjoy ourselves? This is a game. It's time to play the game. Yeah, I get those Adobe pop-ups every now and then. I think it's about making it my standard PDF software. I didn't even read it. It just pops up over some games that I play and it's really annoying. I need your money now. I don't want to give the money. I finally noticed that the inside of the parlor had gone quiet again. Everyone had sunk into their favorite sofas, some deep in thought, some irritated, some acting depressed. Maria was once again enjoying the TV, as if she'd never left it. It looked like she found the commercials more fun than the boring program, and she happily yelled, "Ooh, ooh," and giggled. I stared at each person's appearance in turn. The wind howling is so creepy. There isn't a 19th person. The culprit must be in this room. We got a character slideshow again. Let's go. Nanju looks very anxious. I'm kind of sad that I know that he said that this wasn't his field of expertise, you know, but I kind of wish that Nanjo would have tried to understand what the cause of death was. Like, maybe they have like external injuries other than the fact that their faces were plowed in, but maybe they had like, I don't know, a little dent in the head. Maybe they were smashed with a dull object. I don't know. Anything. Right now, Aunt Natsuhi's searching the mansion with the servants, right? Then we shouldn't say in this room. In this mansion is where the culprit has to be. After all, it's possible Aunt Natsuhi was behind this. And we still can't deny that one of the servants might be the killer. Anyone could be guilty. Still, Aunt Natsuhi and the rest sure are taking their time. Of course, it's not a small mansion, but isn't this taking a little too long just to walk around checking the windows and doors? Oh god. Just as I was thinking this, Aunt Natsuhi and the rest returned. Not one of them was missing, but our relief was short-lived. Everyone looked at Aunt Natsuhi in shock. The talk I'd had with Aunt Eva started to creep back into my mind. The possibility that the culprits had enough in numbers or weapons to kill all of those 6 at once. Excuse me? She has a shotgun. I was kidding when I was talking about shotguns earlier. There's no way she's holding a fucking shotgun. This is crazy. That's so funny. Oh, she looks so badass. She's awesome. That's so cool. Girl boss. Gatsuhi. This is so cool. This is awesome. Finger on the trigger, true. She's ready. Safety off. This is crazy. It's a rifle or carbine? Is that so? It's not a shotgun. It seems so short. I always imagine rifles to be like very long and shotguns can be like really short in length. I trust her with a gun. Honestly, I would let her shoot me. I didn't even realize she's wearing like a corset type thing. That's so cool. Sorry. I didn't even look at this before. That's really cool. Her outfit is very cool. Very nice. Sawed-off rifle. Strange stuff. I mean, a sawed-off rifle could be considered a shotgun, no? Of sorts. Also no G-men. Sawn-off lever action rifle. Okay. I let her shoot me too. Real. Handshake. Shakes her hand aggressively. What platform are you on? You mean, what am I playing this on? PC? This is the not manga gamer, the 7th expansion mod with edited backgrounds. Yes? Does that answer your question? Shotgun fires shot shells, so it's a different type of ammo as well. Okay. Should get a few trophy kills. She should have killed her husband with a rifle. He deserved to die. Oh, I didn't even realize. He has like blood on his body too. Do all of them? That's probably just splattered blood. Not that I think about it, but would have been funny if he was shot in the chest or something. Forgive me if I've startled you. I brought this to be prepared for the worst. After all, that thing in Aunt Natsu's hand was a rifle. At a glance, its silhouette looked a lot like a hunting gun, but it was unusually short and kind of looked like a kid-sized weapon. However, it had a weightiness to it that made it clear that it was no kid's toy. Oh, that gun is Kinzo-san's, isn't it? I thought it was Klaus's for some reason. Hello, Latai. Did I say hello to you already today? I don't remember. Hello anyway. Klaus was probably nice to her at one point. I would assume so, otherwise she wouldn't have married him, but still. He seems like a pretentious ass every time that we've seen him, so... Did you know about it? That's right. I remembered it was in Father's old collection and I managed to find it. Whoa. Awesome. Natsuki-san, is that thing real? Yes, it's real. It can fire live ammunition. Oh no! We were sniped by the... Oh, wait, hold on. It's only... Is this the whole... I can look at the link. Yeah, let me post it in here. It's just a Wikipedia article. Yeah, that does look to be a similar type of weapon, at least. Give Maria the gun. No! Not to her. She would just shoot people. Dench's ass definitely deserving of death. Who knows? Yeah. I think he deserved to die by her hands, actually. I wouldn't put her in prison for that. It's a kid-sized weapon. She deserves it. No! Don't give her a weapon. I'm scared of her. Long ago, Father used it to scare away wild birds. Ah, that takes me back. Where did you find that thing? No matter how much I asked him to let me touch it, he never let me lay even one finger on it. Oh my god, you know what just entered my mind? Oh god, I will never make any progress if I keep drifting off, but she talked about scaring away wild birds, and my immediate thought was like, oh, there's like no seagulls here anymore, you know? They remember seagulls being here every time they came to visit. And there's like other things that are different now, like the one shrine or whatever missing. And things about the island are different? And Batara talked about there being a different, or like feeling like they're in a different world. So, just hypothetically speaking, if this is like some kind of foreshadowing, it would make sense for there to be no seagulls and for there to be no more shrine for whatever reason. But the shrine could also have been the key, since someone was talking about Kinzo making the key or whatever visible for everyone to see or whatever. Anyway, it just made me think that maybe the reason things are so different, especially like the birds missing and everything, would be that it simply is a different world. If magic does exist, it would make sense for them to be simply in a different place, even though it looks the same. I would also not let Eva have a gun for sure. Maria would never hurt a fly, maybe perform some occult ritual on it, but that's fine. Yeah, totally. It's a bit much for just scaring birds. I'm not familiar with weapons, but I'm gonna trust you on that. That would also explain maybe why the gold could be here and never found on the normal island. Yeah, I feel like if they went to look for it now, they might be able to find the gold now, but they haven't left the mansion or like the perimeters of the mansion and the guest house really. It could also explain why the rose wasn't there anymore after the typhoon started. You know, the typhoon could also just simply not go away ever. Maybe there's just a constant typhoon in this world, but it could also explain why the rose wasn't there anymore, because it's simply not the same place that they thought they were in. And maybe, just maybe, the people, okay, this is like super copium, but maybe the people aren't actually dead. Maybe they were just left in that other world? Unlikely, since they were there when the typhoon started. But, you know, that's my copium. Maybe they're alive in the other world and then, you know, they were transported back or something. Personally, I'd be mad if I bought a game about seagulls crying and then there weren't any. I think there were seagull sounds at the very beginning, so you have that at least. Oh.
じい様、こんなの持ってたんですか?
Grandfather had one of these?
知らなかったですよ。
I didn't know that.
お父様は昔西部劇にどっぷり使ってたことがあってね。
Long ago, grandfather was really addicted to cowboy films.
あの世代はこういうライフル銃が大好きなのよ。
That generation really liked this kind of rifle.
結構年季の入った銃のようですね。
Is that a Winchester?
でもこんな短い仕様のは初めて見ました。
I've never seen one that short before.
ああ、思い出したわ、その銃。
Ah, I remember. It's that gun.
懐かしいな。昔好きやった映画のガンマンが派手にぶっ放しとったやつだわ。
That really takes me back. That's the one Steve McQueen fired off in Wanted, Alive or Dead. Is that an actual movie? I don't know what he's talking about. I'm sure everyone is okay. That's words from. Okay. It's a slightly changed the names around to be legally distinct. Okay, okay, okay.
お父さんも渋いな。
Father sure has good taste. It was Steve McQueen in Wanted, Dead or Alive. That's like... They barely changed the title!
親方様がだいぶ昔に
It is an item.
特別にお取り寄せになられたものです。
The master ordered specifically from America long
ご
ago.
覧の通り実銃ですので、どうかこの件はご内密にお願いいたします。
As you can see, it is a working gun, so please don't tell anyone about this. His voice is so quiet, I can barely ever hear him. That's the origin of the sawed-out rifle. I see. Okay.
手に入れられたばかりの頃は大層気に入られておりまして。
He was quite fond of it right after he managed to acquire it.
撃つより薬莢を出す動作が面白いらしくて、裏の森でいろいろとかっこつけて遊んでおられたもんですよ。
It seems the workings that ejected the cartridges were more interesting to him than shooting it, and he played around with it back in the forest all the time. Maybe he was hunting witches. Maybe he went on a witch hunt.
しかし物騒ね。
Still, it's rather disturbing.
そんなものまで持ち出しちゃうのかしら。
Are you sure you should be dragging this out?
万が一に備えてです。
This is to prepare for the worst.
族はおそらく一人ではないでしょう。
There was probably more than one offender involved.
しかも主人たちを6人も殺した恐ろしい相手です。
Furthermore, those horrible people killed 6 of us, including my husband.
私には主人に代わって皆さんを明日まで守る義務がありますので。
I have a responsibility to protect everyone until tomorrow in my husband's place. As Natsuhi-san said this, she slumped down into one of the sofas and took a deep breath. She had been trying to find grandfather, as well as check the doors and windows. Since grandfather wasn't with her, she probably still didn't know where he was.
屋敷内の戸締まりは厳重に確認してきました。
I carefully checked all of the doors and windows throughout the mansion.
ですが、万が一ということもあります。
However, we must be prepared for
みん
anything.
なるべくここに一緒にいた方がいいでしょう。
Everyone, I think it would be best if we all remained here.
そうね。
Oh, good point.
ここに全員が集まって相互監視をしている方が安心だわ。
If everyone's gathered here, then we can all feel more secure by keeping an eye on each other. Surely no one would think of leaving and doing something silly in the meantime. I love how Jojo's changes all the names to be legally distinct, and then Irukishi's just like, yeah, it's from Wanted, Dead or Alive. I mean, at least he tried. Maybe it's distinct enough to not get sued. I don't know. Good servants are to be seen and not heard, maybe. That is something that Kinzo would say, maybe. Maybe not Kinzo, but someone else would say that.
それはどういう意味ですか、エヴァさん。
What do you mean by that, Eva-san?
別に。
Nothing really.
夏日姉さんの意見に賛成しただけよ。
I'm just agreeing with your opinion, aren't I? There was a stormy atmosphere between the two of them. When is there not? If you think about who was the most suspicious from the inheritance problem standpoint, Aunt Eva was the most obvious answer. However, there was no proof that Aunt Natsuhi was innocent. Though, if you view Beatrice's letter as one of grandfather's complicated pranks and think of this crime as just an extension of that, there's more than enough reason to suspect even grandfather. Also, Aunt Natsuhi thought the criminal was on the outside, but Aunt Eva thought the criminal was on the inside. In short, it was the question of whether or not a 19th person exists. That same question has been repeated endlessly since last night's dinner, with a letter from the witch who called herself Beatrice. So, was the culprit among us? Or not? And did witch Beatrice exist? Or not? If you assume that something as stupid as a witch can't exist, you're basically saying that one of these relatives here, who share a common bloodline, is the culprit. If that was too unpleasant, it'd be much more comfortable to simply accept the fairy tale-like character of the witch. A witch? A witch drawing a bizarre magic circle and offering human sacrifices. If I could accept that rubbish, I'd be able to trust all the people in this room. However, damn common sense got in the way. It kept repeating that witches don't exist. In that case, the culprit must be among us. Stop saying it. Among us. In the middle of the seemingly endless rain, none of us could break the silence. It is 1 p.m. Right? Yeah. Or 1 a.m. I'm thinking it's p.m. I was gonna keep going for a little longer, but I can feel my voice dying. I'm struggling to like speak and not have my voice crack. So I think I'm gonna have to end it. It's perfectly at 4 hours. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go for 5 hours minimum because I wanna make some good progress. But I think my voice will give in before I can get to 5 hours, unfortunately. Lunchtime. It is lunchtime for them. Which is why they are in the kitchen now. Wait, let me save before I forget. Save. I think we made okay progress. I hope. We talked for a lot of time. And I was talking about all kinds of theories and stuff, so yeah. I hope that I made good progress still. 1300 hours. Yeah, I'm gonna drink some tea and stuff. I wish I could go for 10. Yeah, we've seen transition. It's a good place to stop. Let me see. Who can I rate today? I think it would be unfair to stream Umineko tomorrow or Tuesday possibly, since I think many people can make it to the Umineko streams because I stream on Friday and Sunday, so weekends. So I'm gonna stream something else next week. But next week, as I said in the beginning, will only be 1 or 2 streams since Dokomi. I will raid. I will raid. I will raid. We haven't raided Uni in some time. And she went live like 17 minutes ago. I don't know what she will be doing today, but she's chatting and that's always fun. But yeah, thank you for being here today. It was very fun. The theories are running wild in my brain. If I think of anything else, I hope that I can remember it until next time. But yeah, there most likely won't be an Umineko stream next week because of Dokomi, since I will not be here during the weekend. So, the week after next week, we'll resume Umineko. Please don't lynch me for it. I'll be back soon for Umineko. But yeah, thank you for being here. Skip, thank you Butt Crisp, thank you Fita, thank you Trace, thank you Latai, thank you Austin, thank you Costco, thank you Nayu, thank you Miggles, and everyone else who lurked and stuff like that. And I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And I will see you next week. Bye bye.